Hello everybody and welcome back to the Le Mans 24 Hours in 2023. It is time for the third free practice session and the fourth session of the weekend. Another 3 hours then in the daytime to lead us into the qualifying for Hyperpole, where the top 8 progress through. Hyperpole later on. It's going to be a 30-minute session, no refueling, unlimited tyre choice. Bronze driver must be in for the GT AM class as well. Only one driver allowed in the LMP2 and hypercars. So this could be a very crucial one. 3 hours they've got because, as the 86 GR Racing as well, with Barker at the wheel, gets Wainwright just sort of having a little bit of a shy dig at him in the pit lane. This session is important. It's the last one before we go into Hyperpole. It's also the last one in the daytime before we get into the warm-up session on Saturday, which is only half an hour. So if you want good running, this is your last attempt to do so. Alongside me in the commentary box, it's Josh T. Hi, Josh. Sort of rotating the team this afternoon as well. Got other people coming in. But we've had qualifying. Now we've got one more practice for Hyperpole. So crucial 3 hours ahead. And if you've been here, you're really in trouble.
Yeah, it really is. Hello, everybody. Yeah, you don't want to bin it into this session, especially if you're going into Hyperpole.
Yeah. That's
not what you want to be doing. I believe it's 24 cars going into Hyperpole.
Yeah, 24 cars, 8 from each class as well. So the top 8, we'll give you those names and dates when we come into Hyperpole later on as well. Just a quick update for you as well in terms of the sectors on this track as well via our wonderful track map status image as well. Zone 1 takes you all as well to Zone 2, Zone 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a slow zone, so if it gets initiated, you know where it will be on the circuit. We're on about 5 minutes away from the session getting underway. Let's cross over then to the world feed and get their thoughts. Hello, guys.
To single-seater racing, and then, you know, sharing a car with teammates. We see here drivers getting in, getting out, their seat inserts, chatting to the driver helper. You know, you're trying to perfect things, but at the same time, it's a one big compromise between teammates, and I think that's the thing that really hits you hardest at first. Looking at the circuit here, the circuit graphics, Sector 1 takes you through Dunlop and down towards Teche Rouge, Turn 6. As the engineers would call it. Then Sector 2, the long straight, Mulsanne straight, linked with 2 chicanes in between, and then the Mulsanne corner. You see at the top of the map there, one of the tightest corners on the track, and then into the 3rd sector on the exit of Arnage. Takes you through the brilliant Porsche curves, high speed. This circuit really has a mixture of everything. You have moments around the track like the Porsche curves that are very close proximity to the barriers, and other parts of the track where it's a little bit more open and you can afford to make a few mistakes here and there. Track limits are a thing here. But yeah, this circuit really does have it all. We've got the 4 different tyres there on screen as well, and for once we can actually see the different compounds. Thank you, Michelin, there for the hard, medium, soft compounds, and obviously the wet on the far left. So yeah, it's a first for us in the World Endurance Championship. You can see there, look, the Toyota on the medium tyre.
And those are temperature related because they will work, the softer tyre will work on a cooler track and for longer on the cooler track and the medium tyre will give you a sort of little bit more grip in the hotter weather and a bit more resilience in the hotter weather. So we'll probably see much of the daytime running done on a medium, and then they'll maybe go to the soft during the cooler times in the evening. Air temperatures have been hovering around 30 degrees Celsius, so way up north of 80 degrees in old money Fahrenheit. In LMP2, you have 2 specifications of tyre provided by Goodyear, a wet weather tyre and a medium slick. So it is a very straightforward call. There's no different tyres going on in the cool of the evening. If the track temperature drops below 45 or 50 degrees, which is what it is at the moment, so unless it's really stonking with rain, it'll be those tyres that go on, the slick racing tyres. No tread to move the water, and that means more contact patch on the ground, and that's why we use slick tyres, because they put...
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting we saw the wet tyres come in as well, as we still say hello to Kensley, hello in the chat as well. It's interesting, actually, we say that, Josh, because we know that there is rain incoming, isn't there, for this weekend. In fact, the majority of Saturday and Sunday, the 24 hours, it's going to be absolutely wet according to your graphics.
Yeah, well, the weather source that I use, surprisingly, the weather that I got is being provided by the IndyCar weatherman.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't think this is IndyCar, but whatever.
It works.
Rocks your boat.
It works.
But getting ready to line up in the pit lane, I believe.
Look at our timing.
For 2 minutes.
Yeah, our timing tower is so messed up right now as well, because we have removed the things like Actually, no, we haven't. It's reset itself. I was wondering why it was looking so poor. The columns have reset themselves. So I need to take that off. It's not so annoying. It's because the cookies aren't remembering themselves. So you've got to go through them all and retake. Like, we don't need the best sector.
Can I have the cookie?
I could do with a cookie as well. Right,
a virtual or a
it's the virtual cookies. Honestly, Google Chrome has just crashed on us in the past couple of days, but at least it's working now. The computer gets turned on tomorrow morning for MotoGP's practice session, and that's it. It won't get switched off until Sunday evening, or Sunday afternoon at least as well. Coming into Le Mans, 24-hour races. The one thing I'm glad about, actually, that's not Father's Day this weekend like it was last year and the year before, because it does make it quite tricky trying to compensate as well with siblings all around. As they are going to progress. 2 minutes to go. Sorry, less than 1 minute to go until the session gets underway. We're watching this via Discovery Plus, so our TV pictures are around about 15 seconds behind the timings, which isn't too bad. Race control just waiting to get on as well. Well, I won't have cameras out on the track down at the second half on the straight yet, in the midfield section, so I have to rely on onboards. The Goodyear blimp has made its way into Le Mans, ready for the weekend, as we see some of the exterior go-kart circuits as well just coming around, and we're coming up to the green light. It's going to be a 3-hour session, if I'm not mistaken, Josh, coming onto the timetable today for practice number 3.
Yep.
Got to figure out where it is, actually, because it's quite difficult to tell. Practice is coming up as well. I can't even see it. There you go. Practice 3 hours in length, and the green light goes on. Let's head to it.
The 777 is still being worked on. I'm trying to get hold of Casper, because obviously he was involved in that incident, Casper Stevenson, and he has got a lot of laps to make up during the next, maybe not this one, but definitely tonight's session. Well,
the team were definitely hoping to have the 777 D-Station car on track during FP3. Now, that is a 3-hour session from 2-hour session. No, 3-hour session from 3 to 6.
Here comes
a long weekend,
Eduardo.
I can't take 3 from 6 without coming up with the wrong answer. But yeah, Casper Stevenson, his teammates need to make sure they get their night-time laps in to be allowed to start the race. Should they not? Because they didn't.
1. Pit exit is open. Pit exit is open.
Because they didn't.
No way are we 40 seconds, but we are coming up. Are you ready for this? No, believe this. We are 50 seconds back. 50 seconds. Josh, what's yours showing? Surely it's quicker.
Let me get it up.
Might not be 50 seconds back from the TV pictures. That's insanity. But anyway, green light, away we go for 3 hours of practice 3 here. As the Porsche Penske Motorsports head out onto the circuit. Well, we've got a yellow flag there. It's going to be really interesting to see. Discovery Plus, I hate it sometimes. Yeah, Eurosport too busy showing other things, and they've put the Le Mans 24 hours. I think they've got exclusive coverage on.
I'm on 2:58, 49, 48,
yeah,
47,
we're massively behind.
46.
Okay, well, let's go fix that then as well. But in the meantime, while we fix what on earth is going on with our TV pictures and we're so far behind, the Radio Le Mans team has been trackside with us over the past couple of days. Let's have a word with them.
Please, no stoppages. Let's have 3 hours of clear running. That's what all the teams want. Will they get it is the next question, though, because the other thing that I'm sure we'll get a few of is laps for the GTE and bronze drivers. Remember, if you're into the top 8, this is the rehearsal, effectively, for later on at 8 o'clock. So I'm talking about Suzuki in the 74 Kessel Racing car, the AF Corsa car, Simon Mann. It'll be Jens Moller in the GMB Motorsport car. Takeshi Kimura for 57 Kessel Racing, Ahmed Al-Hati in the 25 ORT Aston Martin, Ben Keating for Corvette, Thomas Floor for AF Corsa number 54, and Luis Perez Companc given the responsibility to qualify the 83 machine. That was the car that was quickest last night with a 351.877. Let's get to Joe Bradley, part of our CrowdStrike pit and paddock reporters.
Afternoon, Johnny. Afternoon, Bruce. Afternoon, everybody. It's another hot one, guys. Another practice session coming up. The all-important one for 8 cars out of all of our classes here. So the top 8 from yesterday's qualifying in the hypercar class, LMP2 and GTE, will be preparing for that all-important qualifying session this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. Everyone else, well, they're in race mode now, aren't they?
Always nice to hear from them. Right, I'm at 56.55, Josh. What are you on? He says, trying to...
Let me just press the live button.
56, 43, 42, 41.
I'm 37, 36, 35.
Yeah, we're brilliant. So now it's a 50, we're 17. That's better, how it's meant to be as well as they come into it. Okay, so 20 seconds back. What is happening with our TV coverage this weekend, honestly? Discovery don't deserve the rights to Le Mans. I still think it should go to Sky Sports. I think they'll do it brilliantly in Le Mans 24 hour. Less ad breaks as well across the race. So this Discovery then will be ad break free. So that's one thing. Adam says, good afternoon, Adam. Martin Haven is a great broadcaster, lots of respect for him. Met Martin Haven back at Donington in 2017. Lovely chap, quite tall, like really tall as he comes through. He wouldn't be able to stand in his commentary box, he's that tall. Roof's too high coming up as well at the top. Lovely bloke though. As Richard Westbrook in the number 2 Cadillac Racing comes into the pit lane at the Ford chicane before coming into Recruitment. That is the number 3 Cadillac Racing. That's having some work done to the front. Looks like they're just having some, well, they've changed the brake caliper as well. They're changing some engine setup stuff. That's normal. The number 8 Toyota into pit lane as well. Fingers crossed, just getting a few things right before this evening's Hyperpole session. Hello to Jensen, Jansen B. I said Jensen Button for a second. Jansen B. Hello, welcome along. As I come into it, first session times are on the board. And it's the number 3, it's the number 2 Cadillac, sorry, that's on top at the moment. First in class, as all our timers greens apparently just reset themselves with their cookie data. So I'm going to have to go through this and figure it all out, because I can't keep turning this on and off every through. Really annoying to take a look at this. Like, we don't need last lap speeds as well, because we need the mini sector times as well. Look at their lap times. There we go. So it's Richard Westbrook who's fastest in the number 2 Cadillac. Sebastian Bourdais, number 3 Cadillac though, hasn't yet left the circuit, so he hasn't gone out for a lap. We've seen the Porsche Penske do sector time, so it's coming up on the board now. So we're watching that now. The number 6 with Andre Lotto at the wheel, and just behind him is his teammate with Dane Cameron at the wheel. As they come back on now, down towards Indianapolis and Arnage. Love this section of the track as well. It's past the golf course, isn't it, this? Got a yellow flag shown, and Josh, you can tell us where that is on the track, because it's not showing us here as we come
Marshall
blasting.
Post 25-26, it's Indianapolis, where the number 6 is right now.
So which one is it? I can't see, I hasn't seen anything going through into Arnage, so who was it that's got off the circuit? We're there, we shouldn't be that long.
Prepare for slow zone 6 at 15:07:15.
Yep, got that flashed up on our monitor. So we're going to have a slow zone in effect, unfortunately.
10 seconds.
Race control, we're going to have to declare that one. That's why it's the 31 LMP2 that's hit the wall. Coming out of Indianapolis, Fernando Halsberg as well has got into the wall, and the slow zone is now in effect. Oh, hang on a minute, one camera. Slow zone in.
Probably dropped an outside wheel into the gravel and been...
That's coming into Arnage as well. Yeah, so it's the exit of Indianapolis on the run towards Arnage. The 31, unfortunately for Team WRT, hit the wall. Porsche go top there with Dane Cameron, a 3 minute 30.356. Slow zone in effect, as Josh told us about, and that is going to be, if we take a look at our battle graphic here, slow zone 6 is going to be activated.
Yeah. And now, I don't think they're in hyperpole, are they?
31 squad, I think they are actually, so that's even worse.
Yeah.
As we were going through. This is the problem with not having a nice piece of paper that tells you who's in it, because your ink hasn't arrived until tomorrow. Honestly. I hate it, you hate it, we all hate it. Still, we have to rely on stupid technology that is about as useful. Now the thing's not working. And now we can't find a mouse.
You've got to be nice to the technology, otherwise
the technology
it won't work.
is about to get a punch in the face. Right, let's take a look. How's the 31 going in? Classification by category is what we need, because that tells us who's got in with the top 8. The 31 car is not in the hyperpole. The 8 LMP2s...
So it's not that bad.
No, the 8 LMP2s going through, the 28 Jolter, the 41 Team WRT, the 63 Prima, the 10 Vector, the 48 IDEC, and the 47 Cool Racing, the 9 Prima, and the 14 Nelson Racing coming into as well. So they're the 8 from LMP2 going through as we get now our slow zone 6 activated on the circuit. As driver Taylor, Ricky Taylor, that time to leave for track limits as well at Marshall point 4 on the circuit. So it's getting worse out there at the moment in terms of trying to keep up with graphics. I'm trying to zoom in as well so I can actually read the timing screens. That's flashing up on us at the moment. Race control from Jolter.
Okay, Anthony Davidson, you're among us. You are the one with most recent LMP2 driver experience.
With Jota.
So yeah, that message he was just receiving there from his engineer was to turn the air conditioning back on and change the power mode of the engine. So what you do in qualifying is you turn the air conditioning off, because obviously you get a little bit more power that way. It's a trick that they all do. And you can choose a slightly different engine mode, a bit more aggressive in the timing, and you get a little bit more power, but it's only really good for one lap. So he's been told to put the AC back on and box this lap. It's a good time to do it with the full course yellow being out there as well.
Yes, I wonder if that immediately changes their strategy. Okay, right, come in now.
Yeah.
We're going to learn not very much. The slow zone runs all the way from Mulsanne Corner that you can see in the background. They're going to do 80 kilometres an hour all the way through what is actually almost the fastest part of the track, the run up to Indianapolis and through Indianapolis. In our race control room, in the white shirts, we have our race director. He's second up from the bottom of the screen, the man who parts his hair with a chamois leather, Eduardo Freitas, and Ramsey Frizy, who is his assistant race director. And you just missed Lisa's head there. You will hear her voice on the radio as well during the course of the race weekend. She's another of our assistant race directors from the FIA World Endurance Championship, the regular races for this season. There'll be a lot of eyes on this championship because it is Le Mans, because it's the centenary of Le Mans, and because Ferrari are back at Le Mans for the first time in 50 years with a factory entry in the top class. And Anthony, a lot of them won't probably even know that the World Endurance Championship exists because it doesn't have that sort of TV impact that Formula One does.
Well, I mean, for those of you who have only tuned in to watch Le Mans and you haven't been watching the rest of the World Endurance Championship so far, first of all, why not? Secondly, this is what it's like, but in a condensed situation. You know, a 6-hour or 8-hour race that we usually have. It's pretty much all the same players involved. and it's the same level of professionalism. So, you know, this is this in a way I see that Le Mans as it gets more eyes on it, of course, a truly global event, one of, if not the biggest motor racing events in the world. So naturally more people tune in to watch this one race in sports cars, but you know, WEC has reached a level now where it's like this all the time, and if you get involved with the different characters and teams for this long event we've got coming up this weekend, then you're invested in it. And you know, it's a bit like when you watch the Olympics, you're invested by your country, aren't you? And you will that country on to succeed. So once you learn the characters involved, and to be fair, it is difficult. We try our best to explain it all. You know, 3 drivers usually sharing 1 car. It's very hard to learn all of the names and all of the different teams. But yeah, there's some real good characters in this championship, and it's great to be with the championships growing and growing all the time.
Absolutely right. And beyond that, well, what do you call it, really a pyramid that supports this across Europe, across North America, across Asia, all of which this comes together to bring this into one event, this festival of motorsport.
31's got going again, the 31 has got going, so that might remove the slow zone in a few seconds.
Mistake for Ferdy Habsburg, isn't it?
He's found a happy place in this car, Ferdy. He's been in motorsport for quite some time, but Vincent Vos there with the flat cap.
And the BMW Motorsport shirt. Now that is part of what the future holds for WRT.
Yeah, we're going to end the slow zone in around about 30 seconds.
30 seconds,
Yeah.
yep.
For BMW Motorsport, but they will also be running BMW's hypercar program as well, which comes on stream in the World Endurance Championship next year. Those cars are already racing in North America in the IMSA WeatherTech series.
By the way, we were talking about that pyramid. Stick with us later on streaming on YouTube, because the first of the 2 Road to Le Mans races, part of the family of racing that supports this, that involves little LMP3 cars that won't feature in the Le Mans 24 Hours, GT3 cars which will next year, and WRT on pole for both those races in the GT class, with Valentino Rossi second for today's race in the GT class and on pole for tomorrow's race.
Yeah, it's looking absolutely fantastic. The slow zone's been brought in. We are back under racing speed. And now we can get on for the next 3 hours of this practice. 2 hours 45 to go, Josh. And we've got the Porsche Penske's at the top, 330, 356. But not many people going out in this session as I thought there might be. They're also just taking their time, which is not alarming. It's just, I think, surprising that nobody wants to go, OK, I'll get out there first. I'll be happy to see what the race strategy's got to play for.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, but then they do have 2 hours and 3/4 left with only like 15 minutes into the session. But this is our last day practice. You could count warm-up as just like a 15-minute final practice. It is officially called warm-up / free practice 5. But we've got the night practice later on. But yeah, I'm surprised that they're not all going out there. I think we've got 44 cars out on track, 17 in the pits.
Yeah. That's 45 out of the 62. I just had to point out that are out on the circuit, and many of them also then going, no, we're fine. We're not going to go out on the circuit just yet. We're happy sort of just staying where we are, being a little bit reclusive, I think, almost, out there on the circuit. So we'll see them shortly. In the operation for the Le Mans 24-hour race, as we just get our screen set up here in the comments box so I can sit down for the remainder. Hypercar still quick as I can just push the monitors down. Jolter goes third though with Pietro Fittipaldi at a 334.071. Now we see the 75 Porsche Penske with Mathieu Jamier at the wheel do a 328.454. So times do improve and will improve, I think, throughout the next couple of hours as they continue to progress. Let us know where you're watching from. Let's see, Adam has got some... if I got my watch caught in my... Right, Adam has said, some IndyCar news for you guys. Ryan Hunter-Reay will be driving full-time Fred Carpenter race starting at Road America after Conor Daly's departure. Wow! Okay, so Daly got the boot. Hunter-Reay's coming back in. That is a surprise, and we'll keep up to date with that. This is what happened to the Jolt. This is what happened to the Team WRT. Oh, that's the 36 going off the track there. So that's the Alpine Elf team. That is their hypercar, but with an LMP2 engine. So it barely classifies, Josh, doesn't it, as that? But okay, that could be fun. Ryan had to raid back in the championship.
I think it's officially an LMP2 car, but it's on the barrier between Hyper and LMP2.
Yeah, it's a hypercar chassis with an LMP2 engine. I think we got told last night. It was that's the mix, isn't it, as well? I think Radio Le Mans have got some problems on their trackside pictures as well at the moment. So hopefully they're all good. Jolt, Pedro Fittipaldi coming into the pit lane as we see legends of the sport, because that is 5-time Le Mans winner. It's Derek Bell watching on as well. Always nice to see Derek. Grand Prix winner, of course, as well in Formula 1 coming in. Several lap times being predicted, by the way, from the stewards. This is your current classification out at the moment, as you can see. Oh, well, maybe not, because this is FP2. We need to go down to FP3, and everything's not seeming to work right now. Always trust this system not to work. Session stats, here we go. So who have we got fastest and who have we got slowest at the moment? Well, it's the Porsche number 20. It's Porsche 75, that's top. And the Algar and Jolt are still top in this middle session as well. So, okay, this is race control messages that we were keeping our look at. This is what me and Josh have up here at race control. We're going to have our own monitor for them later on as well in the session. Where I'm just stealing computers. Oh, warning
flag.
Yeah, car 14. That is going to be the Nielsen Racing.
Massive lock-up for one of the Ferraris there.
That's the number 50 for a hypercar. That's had a bit of a lock-up. There's everyone now just keeps it in. So yeah, that's our race control monitor that me and Josh have got open as well, and we're getting all our information. See the little Rolex clock at the top there telling us it's 20 past 3. What have you spotted, Josh?
Toyota back at the top.
Kamui Kobayashi with a 327.822, and Sebastian Buemi in the number 8 Toyota GR010 hybrid. It's a 327.879. Okay, nice time.
Well, we can end it here then.
Yeah, good night, everyone. That's pretty much it now, isn't it? Who's going to take pole position now? That's a key thing. Is it going to be Ferrari? Is it genuinely going to be Ferrari on pole position for the Le Mans 24 Or are we going to see something different? I hope we see something different. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari have been looking good. Also, Porsche as the 38 goes third with a 328.440. That's Antonio Felix da Costa.
Just touching it as well. Just adjusting some brake bias. Oh, I hear gravel. I heard gravel going off in the background of my ears. So someone's flirted it coming through as we enter the Mulsanne Straight now, watching the number 8 of Sebastian Buemi. That's the last of our pair. Oh, hello, we've got cameras down the straights. That's new. We didn't know that yesterday, did we?
No.
Have they put them up? We have. We have cameras on the straight. Now, that's unusual. Usually they don't get put up until Friday night. But we have cameras on the straight, which means we can see what's going on.
If anything happens to this car and Megan's in the commentary box, you know who to blame.
Yeah, she's got a sore throat at the moment, but Megan will be in the comments box a little bit this weekend. I'm taking.
I think it's like 45 minutes, isn't it? You said.
Yeah. I'm taking them on my own. Sorry, not them on MotoGP, doing that solo because it's Megan's laptop, so it's only one com available, unfortunately, until we have the money to buy another bus mixer or figure out a better system. So as things stand, it's one com. But don't worry, because it won't be too long until this changes, because we figured out a system of what we need to do to get it all sorted, so we can have more commentators on when there's clashes direct with series. But I'm looking forward to commentating on that run. It's going to be quite fun. I'm taking the camera though, so Megan's got to sit down for an hour with my laptop like this on this screen. So that's going to be quite funny. Sebastian Buemi in the second overall at the moment. He's 57 thousandths off the pace at the moment. It's a 0.057 between the two Toyotas. As the number 15 Ferrari hypercar gets released onto the circuit. Where are Ferraris at the moment? They are way down on the screen at the moment. Hypercar H. They are Ferrari, of course, 53rd and 54th on the list. In fact, I think that's still there, isn't it? So let me just connect to it and show you. They are right down here, 53rd and 54th in class. We've highlighted them for you on our timing tower. Neither of them have set lap times as things currently stand. We'll leave it on there for a moment so you can catch up on what's happening on the second page of the timing towers. But still, this is looking good. Leader in the LMGTE AM is the 86 GR Racing, Benjamin Barker at the wheel. We saw him getting messed around earlier on in the session, which was quite funny to see. Look at this, though, from the 38 Hertz Team Jolter squad in the hypercar privateer entry with Antonio Felix Costa up in the first sector by half a second. Second sector is up as well by 0.7 of a second. So there's massive improvements here coming through the Porsche curves into karting corner. And now down back up to the Ford chicane. Now, this should be quite good. This should easily, I think, put them into second. Depending on what time they lose in this middle sector, this should be an easy run now for Da Costa. Out of the last corner of Recruitment. Boots it up towards the line. It's a long line here and goes, well, stays third. Lost a 10th to the hypercar of the Toyotas. And stays there for a third position with 2 hours and 37 minutes to go. Oh, that's drivers using their own headphones there as well. I noticed some headphones that mainly used in the commentary box as well being used up there. It's quite nice to see. There's the 38. There's Jolter jumping over the screen. The Jolter jumping, could be said. Oh, look, and now we've got, I believe that's a Michelin mechanic. No, it's Goodyear. Goodyear mechanic. Measuring the length of the track as well. And the temperature. Track temperature currently, as you can see on your screen, is 43.8 degrees. Air temperature, very nice 29 degrees. Over here, there at, like, in France. At the Circuit de la South, Le Mans, into the chicane. Richard Westbrook now, the number 2 Cadillac hypercar entry, jumping over. This is good. We were, do you remember last year? I mean, there was only 4 hypercars, the 2 Toyotas, the 2 Glickenhaus Racings. This year, 16. 16 hypercars this year. It's such an improvement.
And it takes up a whole page of spotter guide.
I've just whacked my very expensive Apple Watch against the inside of the table. Thankfully, no damage.
Why did you do that?
I didn't mean to. I just picked it up and it whacked on the metal thing. I need a new table. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Was your Apple Watch involved in an accident that was, or maybe wasn't, but definitely was your fault?
Didn't even pay for this Apple Watch. It was. I didn't even get it as a gift. It was. Well, I did get it as a gift. It was part of the contract with my phone, and it came as a freebie. Very nice of them to do that. When I got this phone, I think. Yeah, this one, I think. I had to wait a month for this iPhone 11 Pro Max. That was back in 2019, of course. Haven't upgraded yet. There's no point to upgrade just yet. Desperately need a haircut for the weekend.
You get the newest phone and then like a month later it's already out of date.
Yeah, that's why I don't bother updating it. It works fine, it charges fine, everything's fine. It's a good phone as well. 4K camera, I'm not going to get rid of that for absolutely nothing. Well, I tell you what, the thing that needs the most TLC in the comment box right now is my headset. It needs new ear cups, it needs stronger leads and all that lot. No more power taking it up, and it's just it's not delivering as it's supposed to. It's really actually quite annoying. I'm trying to get it all sorted. As we look at the Wadux now, the 22-year-old in the 83 Ferrari, Richard Millet Racing. Just jumping out there on the circuit. And we've got 34 minutes to go. I think we've got some interviews coming shortly from Race Control.
Yeah, there's quite a number.
I think Louise Beckett. Lou is going to be trackside somewhere, talking with some of the people in the pit lane. So I'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, I think we're going to go over to the World Field. There's something down there with the Hendrick Motorsports.
That's number 2 car. So again, there's a lot of work going on now. Bearing in mind that there was 6 hours of running on Sunday at the beginning of the week for these cars. So they've had 6 or 2 3-hour sessions. Then they've had a couple of days off. Then they've had all day yesterday. So what do? They did 3 hours in FP1. Then they did an hour of qualifying. And they did another 2-hour session last night. So 6, 9, 10, 11 hours, 12 hours if you count qualifying of running. and yeah, there's half the field haven't barely turned a wheel.
Here is the Jota, number 38 on the screen. And they're still up there in P3 with a 3:27.9. So I think, as well, if you can prove to the race director, the officials, that the car genuinely does have the pace. I mean, it's a bit unfair in many ways. You only have that one qualifying session now. If you do have reliability issues, or if the driver were if the driver stacks it into the barriers and you're out, or an engine failure, whatever, you cannot be starting from the back of the field just because you have one qualifying session. So I think they'll be okay, but yeah, time will tell.
Precedent last year was Vector Sport, who started from the very back of the field, having not set a time in qualifying. But as Martin quite correctly said, since then we have had a change in rules, safety car rules in particular, which is all about a safe release of the field. And the field is released for the first time when the lights go green.
Now, the only slight difference I would say is that in Spa-Francorchamps, our last World Endurance Championship race, the number 8 Toyota that did not set a time in qualifying, because Brendan Hartley was caught out on cold tyres on the outlap at the top of the hill at Edion and hit the tyre barrier. That did start on the last row of the grid, and the only car that started behind it was a car that had also not set a lap, but was in a slower class. So there is precedent for being stuck at the back, and the weather in Spa was not hot and sunny as we expect it should be at the start here.
What weather forecast are they looking at? According to our weather forecast, it's going to be raining all day and miserable, but a great Le Mans because it's going to be absolutely soaking. So what on earth are they looking at weather forecast wise? We'll see everyone watching on in the garages. It's going to be a wet race. Simple as. Oh, here's Lou, finally.
Race.
Well, we are in the centre of France. I mean, we're not geographically in the centre of France, but we're quite a long way from the sea, and there is a history of, you know, hot weather building up,
double
building
yellow,
up,
Marshall
building
point
up,
2.
and then it breaking with a storm. Our director, Olivier Denis, was saying Friday, maybe, for Nuage under Orage.
Yeah, so yellow flag, where is it? It's Marshall point 2, so that's turn 1, right?
Yes.
Very unusual part of the track to go off if it is there. There we go, look, see on your monitor now, turn 1. So Marshall point 2 and yellow flag. Are we going to see double yellows coming through? Toyota goes top. As that is Kamui Kobayashi with a 3:27.580, 2 turns quicker than Boemi. So the 7 going quicker, but yellow flag at Marshall point number 1. I haven't seen why yet on our TV pictures. No sign it's going to cause anything else either, like a full course yellow or whatnot. But across the line then comes Sebastian Boemi, as we already said.
We're coming towards it now.
So is it someone in the gravel? Is it a yellow? We've got a track limit at Marshall point. Well, there's turn 1. There's yellows out. Car stopped at the exit of the pit lane. So it's somebody who stopped in the entrance to the pit lane. It looked like an LMP2. So who just left? Who was an LMP2? I think it's the 923 car as well that left. So looking at that, the 923...
Apparently, the number 98 is running slowly or stopped. LMGTE AM.
There it is. Just seeing it on our screen. Yep, you're spot on there. So is that going to cause a slow zone then? I bet it will. Just to annoy
Yellow
everyone.
removed at Marshall Post 20. There was a brief yellow at Marshall Post 20, which was at Mulsanne.
Still double yellow at Marshall point 2. So they're holding everything up. As Jan Magnussen has had his lap time, several drivers having their lap times deleted now. So this is the race control messages that we're getting, operational look. So several drivers lap time deleted. Boemi has had his lap time deleted. Oh, so that time when he was faster is now gone. And this is the hypercar Persia coming through. So Boemi's fast lap time that just happened, deleted. Marshall point 6 track limits. That's the chicane.
Which is
Dunlop.
turn 8.
Yeah, Dunlop. Marshall point 6. Ah, Tete Rouge. How did you go off at Tete Rouge? How on earth did you go off at Tete Rouge? It's the hardest point of the track to go off.
Now we've got double yellow at Marshall point 1 and 2, so I think they're pushing it back now.
They could put a slow zone in effect. That's zone 1 to neutralise that, but they haven't yet. Still a yellow flag out on the circuit. If it does go slow zone, we'll tell you. Yellow at Marshall point 2. So it's just constantly yellow. Our driver tracker right now, if you take a look at it, looks just like a yellow pages ad. Yellow, 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 black, 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 yellow, yellow, black, black, yellow. It looks like a spotted banana. It does! Pedro says, who is out on the 24 right now? Johnson, Rockefeller or Button? Let's take a look, shall we? In the 24. It's the special... here we go. It's Jimmy Johnson. It's Jimmy Johnson. We'll highlight him on the screen for you here. Here he is, 52.
Currently
Class.
in the pits.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Johnson, but in the pit lane, and hasn't actually turned a lap time. And we understand Jimmy Johnson's having, the car is having some issues that they're working through at the moment. So that's why we haven't seen him on the track right now. Yellow flag is still out though at Marshall Point 2. I'm actually surprised they haven't just thrown out the yellows. Race control keeps telling us lap times being deleted from the stewards, which is always fun. Always a nice interaction. Into the pit lane comes Kamui Kobayashi, the number 7 Toyota. 3:27.580 is his best lap time so far. Now double yellow at Marshall Point 20. That has come on. So where's that on our screens? Marshall Point 20 is down at, Mulsanne. So someone's got off at Mulsanne corner. Double yellow now at Marshall Point 1. Honestly, the reason we're not cutting to any action is because, and car 14's been reported to the stewards for a track limits. That's the Nielsen Racing again, isn't it?
Yeah, LMP2. Let's have a look as we're
Slow
prepared
zone.
for slow at zone 1 at 15:33:45. So that's 25 seconds.
Yeah. So, this is the Peugeot 94, and this is the reason we've got a yellow flag. And he's gone straight on at the Daytona chicane. I mean, that can't be the reason we had the yellow, surely.
No, that's at zone 11.
Yeah. So we've got a slow zone.
4, 3, 2, 1. Slow zone 1 activated.
Double yellow has been removed at Marshall Point 20 as well, but slow zone is out. The information we got from our race controller. Double yellow removed, Marshall Point 20. There's the Jimmy Johnson car with issues, and they're doing something underneath the car. So suspension look like, and engine cover. So we'll double check what information we will have for you, but the slow zone is now in effect once again. And that's at Marshall Point 1.
Should be a quick slow zone, because all they need to do is push it back into pit lane.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long. Next slow zone.
I mean, they were a little bit slow. But 5 minutes stop and go penalty for car 14 for abusing track limits. Yeah, they were a little bit slow deploying the slow zone.
They were. It was shocking how bad they were. But that's a 5-minute penalty then to be holed. Is the 14 out on track right now? I can't see it on our monitors.
Yes, it is.
So it's going to be called in. That's not something that they decide when you get a 5-minute penalty. That is something that the stewards will decide you get a 5-minute penalty for. They'll tell you, right, you've got to come in this lap now to get it all sorted.
They've just pitted.
So yeah, that's their penalty coming through. Nico Muller's had his lap time deleted in the 94 car as well for track limits. This is the reason we had a double yellow. It's one of the Aston Martins going a little bit through the goal. Oi, that's one of the Ferraris going straight on down at the Mulsanne corner. And then this was down at Arnage, the Ferrari 63 in the LMP2 category. Just brushing doors with the Porsche Dempsey Proton Racing number 88 in towards Arnage, as the 98 Aston Martin is going to be recovered for Northwest AMR.
Have the wheels locked?
I think so. Because oh no, look at that rear suspension. Look at the rear right.
Oh yeah,
like
what's happened to the rear suspension?
It looks like it's failed already. Just coming out onto the circuit. It's really bizarre. So slow zone in effect, 80 kilometers an hour. Effectively, if you're an esports simulator, this is a code 80, which means we slow down to 80 kilometers an hour through the slow zones. Basically as well, the slow zone can be initiated around the whole track. That's a full course yellow, where everyone has to go 80 around the old circuit. And there's a new rule this year that the drivers aren't happy about. It's a new safety car rule, and it was talked about last year, but wasn't brought in at the last second. This year, yes, we're going to have 3 safety cars, like normal, but from now on, all the field will back up behind one safety car, and each car that is lapped, that is just one lap down, will be released in front of the safety car field, and then will go back round again to catch up their lap. And at this circuit, the safety cars are going to last hours to catch up. It's going to be unbelievable. But yes, there's now going to be one safety car, and they're all going to go around together on the restart. So the whole field will restart together at the same point of the track.
20 seconds until slow zone has ended.
Into the pits comes the United Autosports number 23 for LMP2. Just bring it in. And Donald Yutt has got a track line deleted as well. Lap time deleted. Attacked line. Oh,
Green
okay.
flag.
Yeah, green flag, we're back in again. Yeah, lap time, that's something new for me. Yeah, lap time deleted from the stewards, and the slow zone has been removed. So, all good then?
Yeah.
Finally, let's get back to some good running. We've got 3 hours, well, we've got 2 hours 20 left to go. Any news from Richie, by the way?
No. I'm guessing it's me. Getting ready for Saturday.
I'm not sure. And we can't even get Tom, because India is going to begin to rally Australia 469 for 3.
I mean, I might be able to do something.
Ed Hunters are coming through, yeah.
I'm stumped.
About what? Sorry, Rich is away. I just need to see him. What? Stumped about what?
Everything.
Right, I'm just texting, hopefully, because we've given him 20 minutes to come in as well. Right, Jolter lead LMP2 in the 28, then it's the 14 Nielsen Racing. We've got a replay from the GTR, one of the Ferraris, trying to, and just cutting the chicane down at the Daytona. And which one is it? I can't tell on the onboard camera because I can't, well, let's play match the Ferrari livery. I believe it's the 74 Kessel Racing that cut the chicane there. It's the one that matches our livery tracker. Yeah, by the way, Livery Gate. We're going to have our own screen for that so that we can have a look at all the cars on the Ultimate Driver Tracker as well. But we're going to have the livery spots so everyone knows where they are. But hopefully we'll have a driver tracker soon as well. That's something that I really want to hurry up with, because our driver tracker will become available from Discovery Plus on Saturday and Sunday with the race control messages. So I don't know actually how long that's going to last. I don't know how long it's going to be. Either way, it'd just be nice to have a driver tracker to know roughly where everybody is, which would be fantastic news. I've just realised that's what I was going to do with the other screen, put the driver tracker on that and then feed it into the HDMI monitor. So I figured out what I was going to do. See? I figure everything out in the end as they come through. 2 hours 20 to go. As we've seen some more information now flashing up as we see the 48 IDEX Sport running 11th in class. As Tim van der Helm has had his lap time deleted for track limits as well. Our driver from the Porsche Super Cup. The Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup that we covered the first round for as well. Reminder, we got MotoGP this weekend, live coverage of all of that. Live coverage as well of Moto3 Race 1, but Moto3 Race 2, as well as the Moto3 and Moto2 races, will be delayed due to our coverage on the Le Mans 24-hour race. So it's Grand Prix highlights for them both. That comes your way, I believe, Tuesday. But still, we haven't even got the Formula 1 sessions up yet from the weekend reviews from Monaco or Spain yet. So that's being even more fun because they're stuck in an edit apparently because we've been all busy doing Le Mans. So as soon as we get a free minute, we'll put those up onto the streams. But yeah, everyone loves the main race stuff as well. We do the weekend reviews like a podcast, but everyone's been super busy. We haven't been able to get it on yet. With all our guests coming in, as the 98 has been withdrawn now down the pit lane. And the heart of racing, the Aston Martin number 98, getting his cars pushed back in the field. So, How long left? 2 hours 19 as we come in. There's the Corvette number 8 in the GTE and class as well. I'm very much looking forward to next year when we get the GT3s in. Let's hear some radio from Catsburg.
Small magnitude, opposite of yesterday. Copy. Is it a headwind on the Mulsanne Strait? Affirmative. Yeah, that might explain the bit of push on this steer, I guess, coming out of Baton Rouge.
It's what the driver wants to hear, you know, the information from the team, and Corvette Racing, very slick operation, so just... Yeah,
Corvette's doing amazingly well, just giving you information on the GT car, where it's stepping out, coming to Tete Rouge as well. Top speed, presented by Motul. The Hertz Team Jolter, I don't know if it's cost 342.3 kilometers an hour. That's in a hypercar. The LMP2 14 of Nelson Racing, 320.1 kilometers an hour. So 20 odd kilometers an hour being differentiated between the hypercars and the LMP2 squad is quite an achievement. As Toyota's still top. Only by 0.3 of a second though to the hypercar team of Jolter. Way up into the wall. Goes the 923 LMP2 of Racing Team Turkey coming out of Tete Rouge and whacks the Armco barrier. Carries on though, but that's going to be a little bit of bodywork damage to be done as we look at the Ferraris. So,
yeah, that was a little bit of a heart in mouth moment and a hold your breath moment. Might need some more underpants. After that, when they pit next time, I'm just going to check if they have made it back round to the pit lane. I think they're still circulating to get back to the pit lane.
Yeah, they haven't left anywhere just yet, according to our timing monitors, so we'll still be under investigation for that one for sure. I've got a dull ache under my tooth as well, it really hurts. Just going to share everything with you a little bit there, but it's just like a little ache, I can feel it, it's underneath the chin here. Really a bit... our jaw needs clicking. Now we need to click your jaw. So, on board with the number 50 Ferrari AF Corsa, with Monello at the wheel, and they have not set a lap time yet in this session. The Ferraris that topped the qualifying yesterday haven't set lap times in this session. They are way down as Rengo van der Zande has left the pit lane in the hypercar number 3 for the Cadillac Racing. And Bohemia's just left the pit lane as well, actually, in the number 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing. The Japanese manufacturer looking to retain their victory. I hope we're in for a good race. I really do. The one thing we need is a very good entry to Le Mans. Hopefully no messing around. Jolter continue in. The top of the LMP2s at the moment. Coming up then on our 16 minutes to go, and Josh is going to leave us. Richie might come in. Although I'm trying to text him and I haven't seen anything yet come up, and I haven't heard a particular...
If I need to stay on main box, I'll stay on main box.
Just pop in the commentators chat. Is anyone able to take over at 3? See who pops up. As Jan Magnussen, father of Kevin Magnussen, comes across the line in the LMP2 and goes 17th. But Glickenhaus Racing, new fastest for the hypercar only entry, not the hypercar hydrogen, just hypercar. 331.482. That's why it's flashing up on our monitors as a new best lap time for him. So it's the two Glickenhauses and the Van Wall that aren't hydrogen-powered hypercar. As we take a look at LMP2 in the 32 car entry as well of the Inter-Europol competition. Or the Inter-Europol competition early. As they fly into the chicane area, looks okay, very much nailed down to the ground, that car. The difference, I'm loving it at LMP2s as well as we come down the back straightaway. The second half of the Mulsanne straight towards Mulsanne corner, flick the car in. One of those bloody flies just came near me. One of those, you know, fruit flies that have been hanging around the garage. Commentary box area. Always nice little things, aren't they? Apparently a good source of potassium. I have no idea why. I'm not eating flies. I'm not Havisham. So, yeah, Jolt is still top at the moment on the board. Let's cross over to the world feed for a second. We've got some information.
In the days before what you would now call a simulator, where it was video games, I can recall one of the guys who owned and ran a Group C Nissan borrowing my son's, is it a Sega Dreamcast? Is that right? Because that
I
was
had one of those.
that was a platform that did have a Le Mans game, and it was. I got his, and he says he's never got it back. Together, I think, with Mark Blundell's pole-setting Nissan jacket that went with that package.
Problem is though, they weren't LiDAR scanned. I think that's it's like basically like 3D scanned.
Yeah.
Laser scan. Yeah. So it's all
it was
a
a
bit
game.
Of
It was a game.
It was an interpretation. Yeah. It was a game. It wasn't a simulation. So yeah, I mean, you were putting a lot of trust into video games, and again, they've evolved massively to the point where most serious racing teams now will have a fully fledged simulator, and they will be testing different setups even before turning a wheel in real life. So that's just the constant evolution of motorsport, constant evolution. I mean, we live in a day and age of simulation.
It's much easier in Ant's day. You see, David, back in your day, it was kind of far more heroic.
More simplistic.
I'm listening to this thinking my first lap in the race at Le Mans. And Jeff Lees, I was racing for Toyota. Jeff Lees had a big accident on the start because Yannick Dalmas hit him from behind because he couldn't see where he was going. So he lifted on the straight because there was a few cars in front, and Dalmas just bang, just sent him straight in the wall, came back with like 3 wheels instead of 4, with the rear end half hanging off. By the time I got in the car, it was pitch black, thick fog, and still bucketing down with rain. And those 2 kinks you're talking about, I went straight on in the first one. Yeah, really? I went straight. I was on the grass. I couldn't see where I was going.
And Yannick Dalmas, of course, now the race control driver advisor. He's learned all he knew from hitting your teammate.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, who would have thought in those moments he would have been our hero safety car driver?
Action continuing. Still some quick laps coming in. Miguel Molina pops up 4th quickest of this session. 2 hours and 12 minutes to go. Get the number 50 Ferrari F Corsa car.
There, you can see on the shot here of the tape flapping around on the tow hook that's just popped up. So yeah, that's normally, well, it's not in the right position.
It's not aero testing.
Yellow flag at Marshall Point 20, and that we all know is down at the Mulsanne corner. And it's still there, Josh. I wonder who's got. Oh, green flag. Never mind.
It's just been removed.
Only out for about 30 seconds, but still. Got cameras down there now. I'd like to know who's down there having problems.
Yeah, we were. I look at this.
Not seeing any information as to who has changed over. Just quickly, Kamui Kobayashi has gone faster, 3 minute 27.
32 seconds yellow.
Ah, that's not too bad. Yeah, so we've got new top time for Kamui Kobayashi. Jamier across the line stays in 5th position. Richie can't take over, he's got a meeting at 3. So if you just text the comms chat, see if anybody's available. Use the @commentator tag as well. I do this, as into the pit lane comes the hypercar of, that's Sebastian Bourdais at the wheel, isn't it, at the moment? So that's the number 3 Cadillac Racing at the wheel. And look at Kamui Kobayashi and Sebastian Buemi, the 2 Toyotas are going absolutely heather to the leather right now as well. Look at this. 2 tenths up in the first sector to Kobayashi, a 10.5 up in the second sector. But Buemi, he's down in the middle sector by 0.126 of a second, but he was up by 10.5, sector 1. So Kobayashi v Buemi for the top honours here. But now we've got Kobayashi blocked by one of the Porsches. And I believe that is the Proton Competition number 16 Porsche in the LMP GTE class that has been told very kindly to get out of the way and not interfere as the field comes through. And this is looking really strong from Kobayashi and Buemi. Down we go.
Yeah, it really is. Still don't know why that yellow flag was briefly out at Mulsanne at turn 17.
Oh no.
I've not seen anything.
Look at timing 71. The danger things arrived as timing source degraded. So we've lost timings again.
I got that as well.
Yeah, timings have gone down.
No, it is.
Hopefully they come back again because it shouldn't really disappear that much. I'm still seeing sector times come on, so that's fine. Right now it's fine. But this is the battle. Kobayashi flying it through into Akudamon, the last corner across the line. What's the time for Kamui Kobayashi? It's a 3 minute. Oh, he's down. 3:28.046. He's 4.5 tenths down on the overall best time. What about Sebastian Buemi? He's coming up towards the Ford chicane of Cudamont now. Surely should be a faster time. Here it is. Across the line. 327.5 goes. 328.3. We're back on with our live timing. Okay, so both Toyotas getting traffic on that last lap time and losing themselves positions, unfortunately. That's so annoying. So mighty annoying. As we've got a warning for the 923 in the, that's the Racing Team Turkey for exceeding track limits.
Yeah, just popped up on my screen as well as the number 85 LMGTE AM comes in.
And we're just changing over. There's the number 5 Porsche. Yeah. Now for some reason we're looking at the number 4, the Floyd Van Wall Racing Team, which is Van Wall, a British team, but Floyd Van Wall Racing Team is an Austrian team. But it's always nice to see the name Van Wall back in motorsports. Even with the traditional Van Wall green and then the lighter lime green at the front of the car as well. Gorgeous car, the Van Wall. As they break in towards Indianapolis now. Yes, I nearly did it, look. Tom Dillman at the wheel. As well, not our own Tom Dillon, who's going to be in our comms box later on in the session, in, I think, Hyperpole or Practice 4 later. It's one of the two. Can't remember who's in the box, actually, for qualifying. It's only a half-hour session now. Down we go. Paul Di Resta is 6th at the moment in the Peugeot 93 car.
It's the people who are available as green is Tom, Jess and Omi, who said can join towards end.
Might be Jess then, who pops up to the comms box for this one. That should be fun. Looking forward to having Jess in for the 24-hour over the period. And hopefully as well we can have everybody in the teams at some point in the race as well. And then hopefully at the end the plan is to have everybody join the Discord call at the end of Le Mans. So a bit like at the Indy 500, but everyone's in the Discord call. We just have a little bit of a party while we do everything from our team predictions there. Right, Dillman across the line. He's dropped 2 tenths. Remember, this car doesn't have any hydrogen power. It's a normal hypercar, and he's 4 seconds off the pace. But Di Resta improves up to 6th. 2 seconds off the pace in that Peugeot hypercar hydrogen power. In case you don't know, hypercar H, that's hydrogen. And normal hypercar doesn't have hydrogen power shells. That's why really it's only like an 11 car way to go forward as to who has hydrogen power and who doesn't in the hypercar class. It's a strong field though, 62 cars in the Le Mans 24-hour as they come into it. Actually, I've just realised, why am I struggling with names of the corners when I've literally got them here on my driver tracker? As well, Dunlop, La Chapelle, La Fort Chicane, Tete Rouge, Mulsanne Straight Daytona, Mulsanne Straight Michelin, Mulsanne Straight Mulsanne, Indianapolis, Arnage, Porsche Curves, Corvette, through karting, into Village Ford as well. I don't know why I'm having such a problem with it. They're all there on our little tiny part of the map. I just need to look up at my stats more. That's on the wall up in the comms box as well. But the comms box tomorrow, it'll be MotoGP, but then in the afternoon, it'll get set up, rigged up, all set to go for the 24 hours of Le Mans. Literally, we'll have like kettles and foods and waters and a little fridge as well. Everything that we need to do to make the 24 hours work will be brought in. And I can't wait. It's going to be a great, great day of racing. Although 2 hours, we're an hour in. Practice does kill. When there's not much going on like right now, it does take an awful lot of time to get energized about it. The evening practice, fantastic. You can talk for ages. In fact, last night, me, Josh and Tom stayed on the commentary box call for an hour extra as well. We were just talking and having a nice chat. And, yeah, so it was just... you struggle with practice, really, don't you? Because there's nothing going on in this session. Everyone's done qualifying, so now it's the final prep for the race. And the cars I've got to go into Hyperpole are just taking it easy and aren't going out there. They'll go out, like, with an hour and 30 to go. So we've got 90 minutes to fill the 3 hours. I still think that Formula 1 practice should be 2 hours on a Friday afternoon. And then we go straight to qualifying as well. on Saturday. Pushing hard. On board with the 75. The Porsche Penske Motorsport. Racing for charity, which is the hashtag 75's motto on the front of the wing. Looks brilliant as well. Nice to have Porsche back at Le Mans, even with the Penske cars underneath it. Right, Josh is going in 4 minutes. Don't know if anybody's coming in as well. Got more off at the side of the track. Which one's this? Coming in with a lock-up. It's the 65. And LMP2 down at Arnage. Just taking a little bit off as well. That is going to be the Panis Racing Squad. And then the 923 Racing Team Turkey has cut the track limits coming into the last corner here at the Marshall points as well. So, we are nearly coming to the end of the first hour.
Actually, some of its talent being seen elsewhere. We've got the NASCAR here, of course, IndyCar.
Everyone's exhausted from yesterday.
More of an opportunity for everybody, whether or not that's the drivers, the sponsors, the teams, to just diversify, because that can only be a good thing for everybody, can't it?
Yeah, and I think some of that's probably also down to the fact that it's getting so much harder now for anyone to get into Formula One, and then with the knockoff on that, everyone's looking for another option. And of course, with sports cars being so popular with manufacturer involvement, you're getting people that are quite high level in their racing being quite attracted to sports cars right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see with further expansion, almost certain, Romain Dumas, by the way, the wheel here of the number 708 car. One of the most experienced men here, and certainly the most experienced crews. By the end of the Le Mans 24 Hours, the 3 drivers aboard that car will have completed 47 Le Mans starts between them, and that's something like double any other crew in this race to come.
Wow.
Yeah, about half of those from Roman himself, it's got to be said.
How many did you compete in here, David?
18.
18, okay, I was 13. I mean, 13 already feels like a lot, feels like enough. But, you know, some of these drivers now, they're starting so young in sports car racing that it's going to be easily achievable to end up in excess of 20, 30 times even competing at this race.
It just fuels enthusiasm, doesn't it? I still regard myself as being a bit of a newborn. I mean, it's my 28th Le Mans this year as a fan or as a journalist, and now as a as a commentator. But you know, people measure that, and the sadness of that 2020 race is it broke so many runs. Corvette Racing as a cracker. We've got a young man just sitting at the end of the desk here, young Fergus Gavin. You'll recognise the surname. And I think Fergus, at 17 years old, told me this is his 15th. That's, I think, is parental abuse. That's what I would say.
Okay, 2 hours, 1 minute to go in this session right now, as we're struggling on commentators here at the moment. This is the problem with doing everything midday as well, is that we've got no one to throw to. But we are going to have a top of the hour update as well from Radio Le Mans coming to us shortly, with 2 hours to go in the session. Oh, go on, Josh, who for?
Car 55 for abusing track limits.
Okay, so we are coming up then with track limits warnings flashing galore, but we are 1 hour in now to the third practice session for the Le Mans 24-hour race. We've got Hyperpole coming up after this as well. Josh is going to vanish now to the back rooms in the pit lane as he's get more things set up. So thanks, Josh.
I can stay in the main box if needed.
For a little bit, yes, but right now we're going to go for our hourly update with Radio Le Mans to see what's going to happen.
Haggerty Radio Le Mans.
Well, Peugeot have got one car going very well and one not going terribly well at all. That's number 94, which is down in 11th place on the charts. Nico Muller limping it in for at least the return leg on the lap. Half the lap, coming in slowly, trying very hard to keep out of the way of gaggles of cars of all classes that are travelling rather faster. He's staying largely on the right-hand side of the track. The sister car, though, is good currently for 6th place overall. That's with Paul Di Resta at the wheel at the moment. 1.6 seconds off the ultimate pace, but let's hope, for the sake of the Peugeot crew, the 94 car can be fixed and Nico Muller can get it back without any further problems. But I did notice, JP, at one of the corners earlier in the lap that the Peugeot got slightly tail happy, so I don't know if there's something awry, but certainly it's caution, discretion, I suppose, being the better part of valour.
No rear wing. That's potentially the problem. If it's tail happy, maybe needs a bit more downforce. I'm kidding, folks. It was all weaved into the design process, and the one thing that it does not have is much drag at all down the Mulsanne straight. We were seeing at the start of the week some very high speeds, high speeds down through the traps of the Mulsanne corner, and interested to see actually how the middle sectors of the Peugeots compare. The 93 earlier in the session, a 120.1. The 94 has done a 120.5. So there's about half a second, 0.6 of a second maybe to try and find on the Toyotas. So even though the Peugeot is known to be a slippery car and generates a lot of its downforce through that clever design of the underfloor of the Total Energies entry for Peugeot this year, still can't match the pace of Kamui Kobayashi, who has done a 327.580 earlier on in his stint, but that car now heading for the pit lane. 8 still circulating in the hands of Swiss driver Sebastian Buemi. Yifei Ye now been plugged into car 38 for Hertz Team Jota, and there's also been a change in the 50 Ferrari for Miguel Molina. No, Molina had already been in that car, hadn't he? Continues on then in car 50. What about movement, though, further down? Ah, yes, Ferdinand Habsburg is finally back out on track, Paul Trustwell. Well, he's done a couple of laps, which is more than he was showing before, or is that... No, that might be me being deceptive, or deceived, should I say, from the screen. It looked like an innocuous problem for Habsburg when he left the track between Indianapolis and Arnage. Yes, there was one of the rear wheels that we think steering, but if that was only a tie rod that had been broken, I would have thought that had been fixed fairly quickly, but no sign of the 31 so far, Paul.
Just checking down, actually. See where it is. No, it's not come back out since the... he was on his 3rd lap, Habsburg, when he had that problem at Indianapolis, and he's not been back out onto the circuit since. So there's one or two who haven't done very many laps in this one, apart from the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Cup entry. Haven't seen very much, just a single lap from the number 3 Cadillac, no action at all from Action Express, a single lap only from the number 34
yellow
car. That's the Kuba Sumeskowski Inter-Europol Competition car.
Slow zone 6.
And that's why the 65's gone into the wall. So we've got a yellow. Josh is staying with us for a little bit longer. We've got a yellow flag, and a slow zone is now going to be in effect as well, surely, because we've got the Panis Racing with Maldonado into the gravel, the cousin of Pastor Maldonado. So Gustav Birch has just left the track, by the way, but not the same Birch as me. He's spelled B-I-R-C-H. I'm B-U-R-C-H as they come into it as well. And look at it. Oh, Synthil's joined it. A slow zone's coming in as well. And it's now in effect. Synthil says, hey, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Synth. Happy birthday.
Happy
Fantastic.
birthday, Synthil.
Remember you saying that. Happy birthday to our wonderful co-commentator, Synthil, on the F2 and F3 races as well, and our wonderful partner here at the YouTube channel. Happy birthday. He runs a very successful F1 highlights, TikTok and Instagram as well. So happy birthday, Synth. Hope you're doing, having a great day, and hopefully everything is going smoothly as well. I think these shoes have had it for 24 hours.
What number are we on now, Synthil? Is it F1 highlights 5 or 6?
I think we're on 5, aren't we still? Something like that, 5. I think it's 5 anyway, so sit down in the commentary box. Slow zone has been activated, by the way. So that's down at Marshall Point 20. Just to give you an information on where that is, look at the image on the circuit. Marshall Point 20 is Marshall Point 21 as well. It's down at Mulsanne, so it's down right at the bottom of the circuit at Mulsanne corner. So
still at 5.
Yeah. So slow zone 5 activated out of it as well. Oh, and slow zone 6. 5 and 6 have been activated. Okay, that's weird. So,
wait, you seeing that?
Look at the data screen. Look, slow zone 6 has been activated, not slow zone 5.
Yeah.
So that's a weird contradiction to where we're seeing on our monitors, where slow zone 6 is after the accident zone.
I was talking about Synthil F1 highlights 5.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying about this one. What is wrong with the number 3 Cadillac? Still at 5, says Synthil. Well, I'm going to go. I'll maybe see you later today or tomorrow night. So have a good birthday, Sid. Take today off. Have a good birthday, Sid. See you tomorrow. Andre Visa says as well, what is wrong with the number 3 Cadillac? Into the pit lane and having a bit of work done. It did run earlier on, but just now having a few issues out there on the circuit. And also notice how
was the sim too,
we've lost audio. That's why I got into the
sim
pits.
wasn't bad. You know, we really had a lot of new innovative parts on this car that were tough to model, including tires. So I think with the information we had and the amount of time we had to get prepared, we were close. I think our lap time, I should say, was a little slower in the sim, so it was a nice present to show up here and actually have a few more seconds in our back pocket.
Well, Jimmy, from all of the fans out there, we'd like a grid of about 15 of these, please, if you could have a word with GM.
Yeah, everybody's talking about that. That would be really nice. It's a fun car, and I think it would race really well. If it had other like vehicles on track, it would put on a heck of a show.
And does it make Jimmy Johnson want to come back here in more of a competitive entity, let's say?
Without a doubt. And I've spent time racing in IMSA since maybe 2004 or 2005, all preparing for someday when I slowed down to maybe go try some other vehicles and such. But I've stayed very busy, but certainly hope that this is not my first and only trip here to Le Mans.
Well, as odd as a concept of a NASCAR stock car being at Le Mans, Jimmy Johnson slowing down is even a far odder concept. Thanks for talking to us, Jimmy, and taking the time out.
Cheers, thank you.
With AI.
So Jimmy Johnson still slipping out there on the circuit. Nice to hear that he's staying in there. Let's cross over to the world feed. We'll wander this slow zone.
My day, when a yellow came out, was how much you're going to lift, really.
Exactly. So you take the responsibility away. It is a safe and elegant way to reduce the speed of all of the cars, and then you can get back to full speed again afterwards, get the tyre temperatures back up, and you know full well next time you come round Mulsanne corner that on the exit you're going to have to slow it all down again. Into the pits comes the Cadillac 311, so that's the IMSA car. We've been calling it waved into the weighbridge. So yeah, this car isn't a regular in the World Endurance Championship. We can hear from our race director.
Car 923 has a 5-minute stop and go penalty. Car 923 has a 5-minute stop and go penalty for abusing track limits even after the warning flag.
I got to tell you guys, I can't remember track limits being abused as badly, or at least being called for abuse as badly as they have here. I was joking with Martin earlier, trying to keep up with the number of people that have had to serve. I gave up. I gave up trying to keep up because so many people have had to serve these 5-minute penalties for repeated abuse of the track.
It's part and parcel of the modern day racing here at Le Mans. It's you can't really argue with the rule. All 4 wheels over the white line, whether you've gained an advantage or not. It's a hard fast rule. You all know where you stand. You can achieve it within the car. When it's wet, we all stay off of the painted curbs. It can be done, but it's just sometimes you just get in a bit of turbulence behind the car in front, and the car washes out, and you go over those white lines again. You go, oh no, not again. And even though you know it's not faster, you're not gaining from it, they're watching you. And I think they've become better at noticing. We've got cameras in operation as well, so there's really no getting around it. And corners like exit of Tetra Rouge is one of them. So you know the trouble zones on the track. Karting is another one. The fast left-hander at the end of the Porsche curves. So you know where you're kind of playing with fire in many ways. And but it's not easy. The fact that we see so many infringements proves it's not easy. It's always tempting to go over the white lines. And at the end of the day, it's not a real penalty. The problem, it's not an instant real penalty. There's no punishment for immediately going over the line. So there's a psychological shift from inside the car, whether you're going over a white line or into a barrier. Funny how we don't see many cars run into barriers, but we see a lot of it going over white line. Why? It's because it's such a psychological difference of seeing something that has a real, literally, impact, or something where you think, oh, I might just get a bit of a drive-through penalty for that one. There's not a real physical penalty to it.
Surely they didn't see that.
Why don't we just bring the rules back?
Well,
Get the rules back, make it a bit more interesting.
There you go.
problem is then, you know, you run into the situation where the FIA have to make the circuit safe enough, and well, it's that double-edged sword, really, isn't it?
As you well know, David, in the United States, in the American Le Mans Series, there are a lot of racetracks where there was consequence without catastrophe if you went off, but there are other places where it was catastrophe before there was even consequence.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I loved racing in America, to be fair, because it kept you on your toes. You had to really respect the track limit because it punished you if you didn't.
It's like the difference here, David, isn't it? On the exit of turn 5, they come through into Tetra Rouge. That barrier's staring at you the whole time. I think we can hear from some team radio before that.
9 laps, so second stint of the tires at the end, so you will have a bit more oversteer than yesterday.
Copy that. Yeah, just on a long run there.
Yeah, and you guys were talking earlier about this being a session that is totally dedicated to race setup. And now finally, because one of the things we didn't see last night, because they were trying to cycle drivers through for their night laps, anybody really get an opportunity to do a long run. They're doing their long runs today.
Oh, this was always going to be the day for that. But yeah, just go back to that. Go back to that barrier chat, the exit of turn 5. We've seen a few cars hit that barrier, and it definitely hurts. I've done it myself once before, and it definitely hurts. But there is a difference when you're on sections of the circuit, like here on the Mulsanne straight, where the barriers are there looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a driver, you go around a racetrack, you kind of get this tunnel vision. You don't really notice it. You notice where the edge of the track is, obviously, but you don't really think about those barriers until it goes wrong. And then you're on them immediately, and then you know what the barriers are all about.
Fun little games going on down there with the mechanics as the action continues. Lucas says, good morning, Joshua. Greetings from Argentina. Good morning. Good morning. As we see over the 55, the Aston Martin having a little bit of a slide there coming through. That's the GMB Motorsports with the McDonald's livery sponsorship on it as well. Coming a few moments out there. Good morning for over here, or good afternoon from the UK. It is 3:13 here in the UK at the moment. As we just take a look. Sorry, we were on a slow zone when I left the com box. We're on green there now. So just popped in, had a biscuit, a little bit of a drink, half an hour as we come into it. But now we're back with you. And team, look at that, Josh. Look at the race control map. I've never seen this message before. Team managers of cars 28, 35, 39 to race director and race control. So that is 28. Oh, that's going to be quick to tell. It's LMP2. That's Jolter 28. 35 of Alpine Elf Team and 39 of Graf Racing are to report to the race director in race control. So they've been summoned to effectively the auto stop. Yellow, Marshall Point 20. So we've got a yellow flag at Marshall Point 20 as well now. That we've got to bring out as we'll keep our information to you shortly. Again, that's down at Mulsanne. Everyone's going off at Mulsanne, Josh. Every single person in this session is going off at Mulsanne.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on that, see if it is a slow zone.
Oh, there we go! And it's into the barrier as well. It's the Jolter 28 hypercar. Lost the brakes.
Number 14 of the Nielsen Racing.
Yeah, and it is...
Slow zone 5.
Slow zone activated. Well,
15 seconds.
Might be a red flag, actually, because they need to get that sorted. Because the cones have all been wiped out. There's a car deep in the gravel trap. So slow zone is out. And that was absolutely terrifying. He just had complete brake failure, didn't he? Coming into it, the rear of the car just spat into him as the slow zone's coming out. Also at Marshall Point 16, that's slow zone 5. That's been activated.
Yeah, so that will go from the exit of the Michelin chicane to the exit of Mulsanne.
So that's the 14 out of it. So it's not the Jolter, it's the 14. It's not the 38 Jolter. Thank you for correcting me, Josh. It's the same livery as the 38 Jolter, but it is the 14 Nielsen Racing, which have got very similar liveries, but you are correct. It is the 14 LMP2 of the Nielsen Racing. So thank you very much for that correction. So you're more on the ball this afternoon than I am. Dissimulate says, good morning all. I'm late and I blame laundry day. No worries, don't miss much. Practice 3 has actually been quite quiet so far, but it's all sort of accelerated up in the last 10 minutes or so.
Josh.
Oh, I'm sick of it. You can say it's like a hospital. There. So what? I said it. Quiet! It's all quiet! Who cares? Toyota Gazoo Racing looking quick. Who's crashed? It's the number 14 Nielsen Racing down at Marshall Point 20. That's why I've got a slow zone out. If we take a look at the map, it's the one right at the bottom of the screen as well. At Marshall Point, it's I2, where the second sector split is. Zone 5, basically.
Hopefully, they fix the session statistics screen.
Yeah, it's all gone, isn't it?
Hyperpole.
Broken at the moment, isn't it? As we go into it.
Yeah, it doesn't like the yellow flag.
Yeah, just take a look at this as well. As one by my Conway. The Hendrick Motorsport has yet to go out on the track today. It's having some work done to it. Well, it doesn't need to go out because it's not going to be in hyperpole because it's in a class of its own. So it's going out, I think, with an hour 30 to go. So they just had some work done to the brakes and the engine as well. But the Hendrick Motorsport with Jimmy Johnson at the wheel has not gone out on the track yet. And that's the 98. Ian James of the Northwest AMR apparently has stopped on the track. Look, it's greyed out. I haven't noticed the Aston Martin having issues. I'll go back to the pit lane, okay.
What car's that?
98. They stopped earlier on in the session. The Northwest AMR.
Yeah.
It stopped to the pit lane,
got
didn't
wheeled
it?
back into the pit lane,
Yeah.
but it's not been back out on track
Since.
after that, so it's still classed as stopped.
Dissimilar says, so they're tuning it, I guess. Yeah, basically they're tuning it, yeah. So slow zones in effect. And Caldwell's lap times, so many laps. Just take a look at race control. So many lap times now being deleted for track limits. Marshall Point 6 seems to be it at all. Marshall Point 4 and 6. So that is through the zone 2. That's Tete Rouge area. Everybody is going off at Tete Rouge. I've never seen this before, ever. So many issues. Oh, now hypercar number 7, that's the Toyota, in the slow zone 5. So slows it all down, ready to go. As the tractor lifts away the 14. Now, like normal, they should be able to just pop it down on the side of the track and it can continue on. It's not like in Formula 1, like if you crash out, you can't get restarted. Go on, Josh.
We are having bollard football.
Yeah, they're just kicking the bollards around now, aren't they? Here he is again, look, just lost the rears and slid over the bollards. Tell you what, the bollards did quite well getting back into the track area. Oof. Ultimate fast.
And this is the number 75 who nearly caught a bollard rolling across, but this is taking the bollard police to the next level.
Let's pass over to the world feed.
That just looked like two black lines spinning like that. There was no fall by the looks of it.
It comes into shot already sideways. That's the problem. So you can't see whether the front tyres have stopped in rotation, but I'm guessing he only had rear brakes. That's what it looked like. It looked like someone's just yanked the handbrake on if it had one, giving it full Colin McRae style. But no, that I'm giving the driver benefit of the doubt. I'm saying that wasn't driver error. It cannot be.
That'd be a bad driver error.
That would be a serious one.
That looks like a technical problem.
Yeah.
And to me, it looked like just two black lines spinning around, locked up, and nothing on the front.
Molina works his way through the final chicane on board the number 50 Ferrari. Hear the whine of the hybrid system as well, a little bit of regen, and there it just starts to boost.
Did you?
Yes, Hector, it is number 14, Nielsen Racing Oracle MP2. That is, that's actually looked like it's also stopped at the track, running 13th overall. You're right, it has stopped. I haven't seen it stop on the track. Yep, so we'll double check where that's going. I'm sure Josh will take a look out and see who's stopped on the circuit and who hasn't. But slow plate's still in effect here at the moment. Look at the track. Just look at the track temperatures that are below us at the moment. This is great. Look. So track temperature 42.5 degrees, air temperature 30.2, 26% humidity, 3.2 km/h wind speed. That's a headwind going down the Mulsanne Strait, by the way. Wind direction 313.
Much of the dark as we are, they don't know what what's going on. But as soon as I can get you more information, I will.
Have they said if the driver said anything on the radio?
No,
at all?
she said, and usually they're very good at giving
It's
information, so
racist,
we
yeah.
just don't know.
Sorry, my head's gone, Hector. It's the 14 that's just got off the circuit, isn't it, Nielsen Racing? My head's gone at the moment as we got the fry passing.
So what the heck was that?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, David. Yeah, they probably do know, and the driver has said something.
Yeah, but they're trying to figure out what to say.
Yeah, they're working out a PR line.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
So interesting that having fixed their hybrid issues in the night practice and also in this session, Joda have been really the best of the rest after the Toyotas.
They have, and you know, the car looks good out on track. I wouldn't say it's the fastest one out there, but I think they're approaching this race weekend exactly how they should. You know, they've only competed with that car in Spa just a few weeks ago, and they had a pretty trouble-free run there, but it was quite a conservative race from their side. Jota, you know, brand new car for that one event, and then you're straight into the 24 hours of Le Mans. I mean, this is an uphill battle for them, but if any privateer team can do it, you know, I have every faith in Jota that they're more than capable of adapting quickly and taking essentially the same car as the one we see on screen.
Sure.
But albeit in different colours, run by a different team, and making it work.
And that's part of Porsche's ethos, and it's also interesting that they are the first of the hypercar teams to get a customer car on the racetrack.
Yeah, very quickly too.
Yeah.
While they're still trying to probably develop their own car.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that's exactly right.
It is a development year for them. There's no doubt about it. Normally it takes 3 years to build up a program to be that competitive where you think you can win.
Yeah. Joining the party here is Peter Dumbreck. Welcome.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day, mate.
Good day.
No, that's him.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, pal?
Yeah, that's me.
So,
Green flag. Back up to running. Slow zone has been retracted. Now we can get going once more here for this last 90 minutes or so of the practice. The last half hour just been massively disruptive with slow zones. No one's actually got any clear running in it. It's making me think, what are we going to see going into Hyperpole in, what, 2 hours' time?
Chaos. Absolute chaos, as that's the number 5 Force Penske Motorsport trying to go down the inside, I believe, of the number 34 LMP2.
It is, on the inside.
Yes.
The Porsche going through on the inside. Lovely livery on the 34 as well, by the way. That's the Inter-Europe competition as well.
That
the sort
is.
of neon yellow and the lime green colours. So it reminds me a lot of the Brazilian colours, but it's actually a Polish team.
Yeah, that's the most lemon and lime livery you can ever get.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Number 6 Porsche is in as well.
Yeah.
Quite surprised actually that we're not seeing many teams that have gone with like a proper bold livery. They're all a bit too pitch perfect, aren't they? Not seeing much in terms of this looks fantastic, this looks good, this looks great. They're also just slowly sliding together, which is okay. But we need better. Go on.
Yeah, if the number 3 was still under DK, our engineering, then we would have a really good livery.
Yeah. The Nemo.
You know exactly
yeah,
what
the Nemo,
you know exactly what livery I'm talking about.
Last year you were obsessed with the Nemo livery, in fact, quite a lot.
It just looked cool.
Mike Conway, fastest in the hypercar.
It didn't look like it should belong on a car, but it did look like it belonged on a car.
The clownfish livery was
weird.
great, wasn't it? Yeah. Proper flat out livery. Oh, a little bit blocking there. So, I'm trying to see which one that was. I think that was one of the Glickenhauses. I think having a bit of a problem at the last corner. The Porsche number 5 crosses the line. Gustavo Menez, we're just looking at, it's the last actually overall at the moment classified as the hypercar runner, the 94.
No.
Yellow flag, marshal points 20. Guess where that is, everybody? Yep, it's down at Mulsanne again. Why is it always at Mulsanne? They're all looking up after that straight. It's right at the end as well. We're not seeing any problems at the Daytona or Michelin chicane. It's always down at Mulsanne.
Yeah.
And I love the music in the last corner as well. Sounds like a choir that we've got going on.
Will we get another slow zone?
Yeah, we're double checking.
No.
Slow zone, yellow removed. Great.
You did say the Q word, and then this all happened, didn't you?
No, I said the Q word about 3 minutes ago during the second full course show. I said it was quite. Oh, there we go. That now is. I'd just like to point out, I believe, the 38. Or is it
14.
once again? It's the 14 again.
Yeah.
That's getting restarted and bringing all the gravel. It's the 14 being let go again after a refire, and it's bringing loads of gravel onto the circuit, which isn't too bad for these hypercars and LMP2 cars, but it's still not perfect to have gravel on the racing line.
No.
This little fly is going to not make it out. This is getting on my nerves now. It's just a tiny little thing that keeps flying around me. Yeah, so the 14 is back out on the circuit. We're running out of things to say because there's not much going on the track, and we haven't got a commentator in as well alongside us. Into your pole, 32 jumps up to 13th place overall, which is absolutely fantastic time there. Right, the next few minutes, let's go over to the world feed because I've got some interviews coming up.
Sports car racing. Yeah, it's fantastic to see all the manufacturers coming back into it. It's always good to know, interesting to know how long it'll last, because these things always go in cycles, as I said before, but we're right at the beginning.
Yep, we're on our way up for sure.
The 14 car going through Arnage, it did not look like there was any sort of, there was no flat tire, there was no... no piece of, no weird suspension. Yeah, very interesting to see what the team can tell Louise when she's down there.
The one thing that we were chatting off air was Mulsanne corner. I always felt that it's one of those corners where you approach it and you think, oh, I'll brake too early. Right, next time I'll brake a bit later. So you come next lap around, you go a bit later, oh, it's still too early, and you feel like you slowed down too quickly, and then all of a sudden you go maybe another 5 meters, and whoa, too late, and you're locked up, and so it's hard to find that balance exactly, and possibly the driver.
And you're in the Subaru parking lot on the other side of the roundabout.
Yeah. But once you get it, you get it.
Yeah, I agree with Pete, and you don't always get it right every time. You're always modulating it, the fuel loads, the tyre deck, all that sort of thing. It's actually, I agree, it's one of the most difficult corners to get right with your braking.
And from such high speed to second gear, of course.
And I'm sure it's a spot where traffic wreaks havoc with you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We should have. Where's Ant?
He knows all about it.
He could talk about end of Mulsanne, with traffic.
Yeah, be careful. Wise words from Anthony Davidson.
Well, I'm not sure there's a lot of grip on that side of the circuit, but
no.
It's on the way into the pits, of course.
Well, because they're all, they're in race mode. They're all in race mode, so they're coming into the pits hot, trying to make sure they get the limit right every time.
Let's head back down to Louise. The 14 car has arrived in its pit stall.
Oh, I'm nowhere near there yet. Give me a moment and I'll make my way back up there. I just saw them coming through the pit lane.
Nielsen Racing back into the pit lane now. I haven't turned them down, it's just that the commentators haven't started talking. It's like we're waiting for someone to take over. I think
a little switch around here.
There you go. They've changed commentators.
So they've taken the tires off. Yeah. There does not seem to be any panic or emergency, Peter.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, sounds nice, the fall there. That's the Van Wall Racing Team colours that's coming through. Now, we were supposed to be hearing, but into the pit lane finally has got back that 14 Nielsen Racing into permission. This race just livening up massively. Look at that, a whole spew of lap time deletions have come our way. And all at Marshall Point 4 and 6, which is, guess where? Tete Rouge, top of the hill. What is going on today? Tete Rouge and Mulsanne are just constantly under pressure. Everyone always on the track with them. It's getting a bit insane. Now, lovely people of YouTube as well, and whoever our radio network is we're on right now. Lovely people listening in to us as well. I think this session's due to end at 5 p.m, isn't it, our time? 6 p.m. over there. And that means we have got around about, what time does this session start? Actually, is it 6:45 or 7? I need to take a look for the next...
Hyperpole starts at 7 p.m. BST.
Yes, 7 o'clock. So I have around about an hour 45 spare. Question is to the chat, do I play R-Factor? Have a bit of a relax and play some R-Factor racing, and then have a late dinner? That's my question to all of you. Because I had a big bowl of pasta just before coming into the commentary box. So do I play R-Factor from 5 onwards, have a little bit of a chill, or do I have dinner or a late dinner later? That's something I'm going to ask the chat. Big question here for practice. R-Factor or food? It's always a good call. In fact, we need a poll, don't we? That's something that we need to go into as well. I'll create a poll. Let's go back to the world feed for a few minutes. I'll get a poll started.
Was it last year? Like a couple of cars already touching.
Oh yeah.
Within, the first corner.
Yeah, before they got to
Dunlop.
coming off.
Yeah,
first corner.
Yeah,
the car's going off. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always a factor. So you want to get into a 24-hour race. You want to be safe on the first couple of laps, but sometimes drivers get a little bit overexcited.
Let's check in again with Louise.
I can tell you that the 51 Ferrari, which has been in the garage the entire session, that Antonio Giovinazzi is getting ready to get into that car, but they have had transition issues, and that's what they've been working on for the last hour and a half.
Cheers, Lou. So that's what they've been working on then. Coming in. So yeah, I've asked the question to everyone in the chat as well, how to waste some time before the hyperpole. R-Factor or food? Polls in the chat. Go for it. With 90 minutes left, we're looking at the 708 Glickenhaus Racing. Having a few moments out there on the circuit. So we're having interference on our microphones at the moment. Sorry about that. Seriously, what is with the interference? Can you hear that interference, Josh?
Yes.
It's like we've got some sort of interference coming in from our systems. Hang on. There we go. Gone now. So, Toyota leading with the Toyota second. 7 Toyota ahead of the 8 Toyota. Then we've got Team Jolter 38. Then Ferrari, of course, finally has got up there by going into 4th position. Time for them is a 3:28.308 with Miguel Monera on the wheel. And looking strong. And this is coming into the Porsche curves, the 708 Glickenhaus. Having a little bit of a slide and cutting part of the track as well. That's going to be frightening. That is frightening. I've done it before. Coming into it. That part of the track is just terrifying.
On R-Factor?
No, Gran Turismo Sport. Yeah, proper racing game. R-Factor's brilliant. Love R-Factor.
I mean, we currently have one vote in chat, and it's for R-Factor. I wonder who that is for.
I mean, look, this is my PlayStation wheel, but come on. It's great to have some fun as they go into it.
They don't want you to have fun, Josh.
No, it looks like food, doesn't it? Although one thing's for R-Factor.
Sleep, commentate, repeat.
We'll leave that going for a while. F1 says the Canadian Grand Prix is not at risk due to wildfire. Yeah, it's a terrible story that there's wildfires in the area, but the idiots who have been saying that the race could be cancelled are forgetting one major important factor about the Canadian Grand Prix. It's on a man-made island on the Ile Notre Dame. It is surrounded by water. Unless the water is petrol, I don't think it's going to reach the circuit in any way, shape or form. So we're fine. It's literally on a man-made island. It's the Ile Notre Dame. We are 100% safe. Race control message has flashed up, Josh. Pit stop of car 9 is under investigation. That is the Prima Racing. Ferrari, of course, number 9 in the LMP2. And Mortimer is due to come into the pit lane as well to race the director. So, They're not over yet. They might still have a few things coming in as well to have some problems with it. Oh, Josh's camera's disappeared. That's because he's probably needed to disappear. As we come across, let's have a look at the GTM class as well. What's this coming through? The Porsche LMP2 dumping on the inside line.
That is correct.
Yeah, and the Porsche the Ferrari getting forced off the track. That looks to me, once again, to be spot the livery, to be the Kessel Racing 74. It is indeed the Kessel Racing 74, which looks like a Domino's livery or like a Cheeto packet livery they've got on the screen this weekend, flying into proceedings. But that's brought out the yellows at the moment. Okay, 1 hour, 23 minutes to go of this session. For the next few moments, we're going to hand over to the world feed.
Do with chicanes, because the car's nice and flat and straight. In the chicanes, but when you go through the right-hander at Indianapolis, you know, the car is still turning when you're still just about to hit the brake. So
for the left-hander,
yeah, for the left-hander. So it's a slightly gentler application to settle the car, and then you ramp it in, and then you come off because it's banked going into the left-hander, so you can carry some speed. But yeah, the technique of braking is quite different to the chicane.
Yeah. But the other thing is, I mean, we do see a lot of cars going off there, so if you just get it slightly wrong, it is very easy to lock a wheel and then straight. And as I said before, I've done it myself. I've been thinking that I'm perfectly safe, and then just snatched that wheel and just drifted wide and just brushed against the tire wall.
One of the Porsches going through, the Iron Lynx Porsche going through the second chicane there, and that was a perfect example of what David was talking about being very flat on the braking point. And down into Mulsanne corner. Back on the throttle. And the run to Indianapolis, which now with the chicanes has become the fastest part of this racetrack.
Yeah. I think it was Guy Smith was saying that they've actually brought that gravel slightly closer to the curb now, so there isn't as much space to play with. And in a sense, I think it's good for racing. You know, it gives you the hard limit that you don't want to go beyond that.
So far, we've got 3 cars that have gone below 328 in this session. 2 fastest cars are the Toyota Gazoo Racing 7 and 8, Mike Conway and Ryo Hayakawa behind the wheel now. Conway is actually, I think those are old sector times that we saw. 7, yeah, because his last lap was a 3:58, so I think he's come into the pits. The Hertz team, Jota Porsche, is 3rd quickest. For the Ferrari number 50 in the pits is 4th quickest, and the number 75 Penske Porsche. Nick Tandy behind the wheel of that car, and the number 75 is 5th quickest. In LMP2, it's Jota in the number 28. The Nielsen Racing number 14, which we saw have the off at Mulsanne corner a few minutes ago, has made its way to the pits. They are 2nd quickest in this session, the 34 Inter-Europol competition. United Autosports car number 22 is 4th, and then rounding out the top 5, the Algrave Pro Racing, James Allen behind the wheel of that car. They too are in the pits in the number 45. And number 54, AF Corsa Ferrari. GR Racing is 2nd on the number 86 car, and the number 60 Iron Lynx, which we're looking at here on the screen, is 3rd. The Porsche, and then the Dempsey Proton, number 77, and the other AF Corsa Ferrari round out the top 5 in GTM. And let's see, the Hendricks car has not made any laps in this session. We saw them working on that car earlier, and there's really, I suppose, if the drivers are happy with the setup, we've got an hour and 20 minutes left in this session. We might see them out in the final hour.
Yeah, we've got 6 cars that haven't actually made a lap yet.
Yep, that would be looks like well, actually one that hasn't made a lap. They've made 6 that don't have a representative time.
Yeah.
And 2 that haven't made a lap. Of course, one of those is the 777 Aston Martin, which is still undergoing repair from the big hit it took yesterday.
Just looking at that Mike's times when he came into the pits, I mean, that tells me he's had 2 purple sectors, or...
Yeah, I'm not sure if those purple sectors when he was on his in-lap are old purple sectors, or... Because, well, I guess because he slowed down, yeah, they sure would come up on that. Yeah.
So it's like banging into two quick sectors and then coming in the pit, so obviously there's more time in that car.
Yep. Well, but also, you know, again, talking about race simulation, you're in lap and you're out lap.
Yep, very important.
Yep.
Getting up to speed quickly.
Yep.
Straight out the pit and obviously carrying that speed through. And we've seen already a couple of cars just testing the limits on the way into the pits.
NASCAR Janitor wanted to take a look at the GT times. There he was. Ferrari, of course, with Francesco Calasento at the wheel in the 54. They've got the top honours in that class. 3 minute 53.681 in the GT field. Let's have a quick look as well. Where do we get up to? Hector says, number 14, NASCAR Janitor GT times. And also says, NASCAR Janitor, hello. I think it was the potential bad air quality at the track for the reason for the cancel. Oh, I see you. Luckily, it's good. Well, we've raced it worse. I remember a race a couple of years ago with terribly bad air. And we raced. It wasn't during COVID. When was it? It could have been the Turkish Grand Prix in 21. That had really bad air. But there was another one, Chinese Grand Prix, I seem to remember. That was it! Chinese Grand Prix 2017, the smog that came over the circuit as well. That really bad stuff. And it cancelled the practice sessions, and the air quality was terrible. And that nearly cancelled the session. So, yeah, it cancelled Friday. And we nearly cancelled Saturday morning as well, actually. Before qualifying, we only got like 20 minutes in a run before qualifying. Practice 2 got cancelled, practice 3 got cancelled, qualifying ran, but it was really bad. I think it was 2017, yeah. Then the rain came and sort of made it worse. That was a horrible weekend, actually. What's happened as more cars have gone out with GT Pros? There you go, 37 fastest. That's because more cars are heading out there as the Glickenhaus gets a bit of a wash-up. When's your chair arriving then, Josh? Has it arrived yet?
Soon.
Is this going to have a GT Omega chair? Going to have a GT Omega chair like ours, but blue. I mean red. Ours is blue. Although, annoyingly,
oh, no.
GT Omega are now no longer sponsored by... no longer sponsoring PSL, which is sad. I really love their chairs, and now I'm not even used to say it. These chairs are absolutely fantastic. I wonder who our new sponsor's going to be. Yeah, you're right. Yellow.
You want it to be a headphone company. Oh God, then you'll get the same headphones.
I said that. I'd like it. I said this for ages. Let's have a headphone so that everyone's on the same headphone quality. I think that'd be great. Although, now that I'm not needed to be in the conference box with my GT Omega chair, it does mean I'm more flexible now to move around commentating, like when I'm trackside places now. So it helps. Still can't use a green screen on Discord, though, apparently. Isn't that annoying? Although Jess does it. I think that's because she's got a Nitro background. So you have to have Nitro, you have to pay for Discord.
No, it's built into her camera hub.
I see. I see, that's clever. I probably could do it then, but it's just too difficult. Still, we don't need it. I don't think we use Discord for anything, really, apart from Prime. Not Prime, what am I saying? PSGL. Prime. Could all do with an hour's break. What's the stats saying? We've had 5 votes so far. 60% of you want me to play R-Factor. 40% say I should get food.
40% of the 5 people want your welfare to be up. The other 60% one be me.
I had a big bowl of pasta, tomato and basil pasta before I came to the commentary box. I'm fine, but
one's me and saying, do the game, be the game, become the game, conquer the game.
I have actually thought that I could stream it on Twitch next week. A little bit of a relax and just do some Twitch streaming. Or, to be fair,
Joshua Burtz's return to Twitch.
Well, to be fair, I don't know, because Twitch, we haven't got any monetization on there. Not many people follow it. Or on YouTube, everybody follows it. So it's like, which one do I do it on? Do I do it on YouTube or do I not? Just a little bit of a chill out, do some gaming. After 24 hours of commentating, we can always have a nice relax and a nice chat and see what you think about the race weekend. Glickenhaus Racing are improving as well. 3:30.433 in that session. They're now 10th off exactly the time of the Porsche Penske number 5 in the Hypercar Hydrogen. So Hypercar and Hydrogen power separated by 10th at the moment. That's not too bad at all. Very well done. From Glickenhaus, Oliver Platt at the wheel in the 708 car. Warning for car 911. So that's the 911 squad as well. I'm just trying to look and see where they are on our data screens. Where are they? Let's go. It's the Proton competition as well that's been given it the warning. Coming through. Timing screens are flashing alive. Yeah. 1 hour 13 to go in this one. Fingers crossed, as we're just looking at the GT category at the moment, by the way, if you're just joining us on the stream. Fingers crossed we actually see quite a good run for qualifying later in Hyperpole. 30-minute session, 24 cars, 8 per class. It shouldn't be too much problems. Jimmy Johnson's, as well as Rockefeller and Button, they don't need to run because they're in an independent class. So the innovative car? Is that the innovative car? It's quite hard to pronounce that. I'm not dyslexic, but sometimes when I look at words like that in bold capital letters, I go, what on earth is that? It's the innovative car, but you try saying it when you're commentating, sat down looking at it from glasses. You have to sort of squint to see that. On board with the Porsche number 6, chasing down a Porsche 911. Through Tête Rouge, and the TV picture's not liking that as well. Now look at the number 3, the Cadillac Racing. Who's on board with that? Oh, it's Scotty Dick. Scott Dixon's on there. We've got Scotty Mack and Scotty Dick as the things that came out from the Indy 500. Everyone in the IndyCar paddock, it's Scotty Mack for Scott McLaughlin. Then they all started calling Dixon Scotty Dick. So I thought that was quite hilarious. I'm just waiting until someone calls him Richard. Still, that was another one, wasn't it, as well? That's a great line from Just Good Friends, actually, as well. If anyone remembers Just Good Friends. Nobody will. They had a... what was it? I can't remember his name now. I can't explain the joke well enough, so I'm not even going to try. I can't remember his actual name. I think it must have been Richard, isn't it? No. Nelson? No. Can't remember. Anyway, Clark? Anyway, we've got the overalls now coming through on the screens with 1 hour and 11 minutes to go this session. Race controls quieting down a bit. Just a few lap time deletions. Go on.
What are you going to do if the vote ends
50-50?
as a draw? Are you going to play R Factor Andy at the same time?
I suppose we'll have to flip a coin on a virtual machine, won't we? If it ends in a draw, then I'll just have to drive while eating a burger, something like that. Although, what have I got for tea? I've got chow mein for tea, and I'm eating with chopsticks as well, so that's going to be very hard to do chopsticks and steering wheel with clutch and that lot. So it'll be fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Just might set it up for an hour, play that. Have a do a couple of things. Maybe not Le Mans. Might go to another track. I've got so many tracks on there. I've downloaded too many tracks to R Factor now. I don't know where to go. Adelaide. No, I'll tell you what. It's so tricky to decide. Haven't done Monza yet. I'm surprised about that. There's loads of variations on Monza there, and I haven't done that yet. The classic Silverstone is always quite fun to go to as well. Haven't done many of them yet. That's the Peugeot up on these jacks. Changing brake pads by the look of it. Just adjusting things. So that's major work going on at Peugeot to get that car ready for Hyperpole. That's coming up in a couple of hours' time. Should we flash back up because we've got some interesting times coming in the Hypers at the moment. Here we go. 3:27.580 for Mike Conway in the number 7 Toyota. He's currently driving that, looking good. Now that's not Paul Di Resta getting in the car, as we've got one of the Ferrari slow in the GT class. And I'm trying to work out which one that is.
After 21?
I think so. There's so many Ferraris. I think it's the AF Corsa 21 Ferrari that's slow. Yeah, race director.
Slow car on track approaching MP9.
Marshall point 9, slow car on track. That's down the Mulsanne straight.
Yeah.
Can't tell where it is, and we haven't got a driver checker, which is really frustrating.
I think it is the number 21 AF course.
I can't see any of the Ferrari that has the same livery. They're all different. It is the 21.
Yes, it is.
42nd is Pigot in charge of that one at the moment as well in the Ferrari. So many Ferraris in Le Mans this year, by the way. So many. Across all classes, actually. Hypercar, LMP2 and GT, where they've had victories before, Ferrari.
You can never get away from Prema, can you?
No, Prema's always there. Prema's actually
always
decent.
somewhere.
Yeah, Prema's decent to be there. 57% now saying I'll factor everything. So he went end with the draw. 39 of the Graf Racing heading back out on the track with the Goodyear medium. Only 2 car tyre compounds for Goodyear, medium and wet. As they swing back through now, down La Chapelle, in towards Tête Rouge, the last 2 corners on the track, before the insanely fast Mulsanne straight. Rising up speeds, just it keeps on climbing, keeps on accelerating as well. That's a Peltor headset, that's quite expensive, so that's a team member watching on. Peugeot 94 though, out on the circuit. Mezzacani is at the wheel. As they're flying, 1 hour 7 to go. We'll come into our hourly update, I believe, as well, on Radio Le Mans. I think we've got some information coming. No? Okay. Well, about time that I've been...
Giovinazzi's out.
Ah, nice. Giovinazzi's getting back up there. Oliver Rasmussen too.
Yeah.
He's changed over from Hyman Hansen. Is it coming into? Is it Henrik?
Dixon as well.
Dixon into.
The 21 still slow on the second part of the Mulsanne straight.
Nick Tandy's come out there on the track too. Right, let's go over to the world feed then for a few moments. We'd like to do to have a bit of a break after 3 hours.
But it's getting hotter by the day, and so how the car feels changes all the time, doesn't it? And so that's where the engineer really has to take control. The driver said, well, it's not as good as it was yesterday because it's doing this and it's doing that. You have to translate that into, okay, this is what we've done to the car, so the weather and the track evolution are having a certain effect. And that's where that dialogue, you know, when you put together a team like Peugeot have, haven't been racing an entire year yet, but with the Toyota guys, it's year 3 of their hypercar, and before that had the TS010, and before that they had another, before that they had another, before that they had another. So those meshing relationships just go on, and that's so much part of the advantage of that working relationship.
Yeah, you're right. The continuity is a big thing within a team, and as you say, a lot of these teams are not new teams, but they're new to these cars and new to this race. So they have to learn very quickly.
And in a lot of ways, you kind of look at another parallel. That's why Lewis has been at Mercedes for so long, because they are so interwoven with each other in the way they think, in the way they work, in what they know of each other's needs and foibles and demands and everything else. And that's what makes that a successful relationship. And it's very hard to pull yourself out of that and go somewhere totally alien. Yeah, we talked to the Ferrari team a couple of days ago, and they have been working as a unit in different areas. Some of the AF Corsa guys have come up from their GT programs, and they know the drivers really well. Some of the guys have come from their Formula 1 program, but they've been working on the development of this car for a year, and so they really feel they are a team. They feel they're a family in the same way that Jota do. Her team Jota here with the 38 car, currently running 3rd fastest. The team is exactly the same team that 2 races ago was running an LMP2 car that they knew intimately. Now the machinery is different, but the knowledge remains and that cohesion remains, and that's a little bit of a help for them. That's still the 21 car creeping along.
Is that a puncture on the rear right?
I don't know. If it is, he's going very slowly. If it isn't, he's going very slowly. Well, we're going to hear from the 50 Ferrari team in a moment.
The car was doing Try Delta 2, position 2. Delta 2, position 2.
So the car is pulling to the left.
You did well to catch that. I could hear the power steering part of it. Yeah.
Pulling to the left. So Delta 2, interesting.
So maybe some of that is about the assistance of the car, maybe some of that is about how it... When will it be pulling? On the straight or under braking? Think of your road car, most likely to meander under braking. What do we know about the front brakes on these hybrid cars? Some of that is done by disc brakes, some of that is done by the motor producing resistance to harvest electricity. So part of the braking on these cars is not the brakes, it is the motor harvesting. So changing that setup, we hear that all the time in Formula E, you know, corner by corner, literally corner by corner in Formula E, they are changing how the car harvests. It's like constantly playing with the brake balance. And some of that we saw with the 51 car in Portimao. They had a brake-by-wire failure, and so they were having to adjust all that stuff manually, and it took them a little while to really get their heads around exactly the best way to deal with it, by which time they'd over-egged the pudding on the brakes. Is that the other? It is. It's the 41 WRT car, which has gone on the opposite side of the road to where the 31 went off, but with considerably less
That's
damage.
down at Indianapolis, turn 21.
Yeah. So first Angolan racing driver to finish on a World Championship podium.
Gets out of the way quite quickly.
Charming young guy, and really starting to rack up some miles behind the wheel of that car. So
Gone green
WRT's
again.
41 car.
Is there a point when we're going to make these things too complicated?
Well, there was, and that was in LMP1 hybrids. They were much more...
they were diabolical.
Although, again, the Ferrari guys are saying, well, everybody thinks these are dumbed down. These are actually more sophisticated in what they do than the LMP1 hybrids. They just do a whole load of different things in a whole load of different ways.
And probably in simpler ways because of not only the rules, but the experience they had with the LMP1.
The other thing that we see a lot here, Peter, is that particularly the hypercars are really quite loose, aren't they?
Well, we saw that from Andre Lotterer there through the Dunlop chicane.
But we see
really throwing the car around.
With all the cars, and not just in qualifying, all the time, the drivers are really leaning on them, and that because they're so long and stable, for the high speeds here, it takes a lot to get the thing to turn. Think about an ocean-going liner. It doesn't have a tight turning circle in the way that a sailing yacht does, because it's long for stability. So you've got to really work these things hard to get them to turn, and as a result, you see the back doing a lot of the steering. The back will slide around a lot in all these hypercars.
Meanwhile, back at the 21 car.
Now,
it's a very long lap for that Ferrari.
Yeah.
We've just got a visitor come to see us in the booth, one of the PR guys here, Paul Marquardt, and he's been wandering around and just came back like he's walked through a shower coming in here. The driver of that 21 car, Julien Piguet, he will have been flying around, pumped up, really working hard in the car, in his full race suit, helmet, windows sealed tight as a drum for aerodynamics and so on, and now he is sitting there just literally sweating kilos off into his... I mean, I can imagine actually half the reason going so slow is he can't see because of all the sweat in his eyes. That's when when you're in a situation like that, you're really racing hard, and then even you get stuck behind the safety car, the adrenaline goes, and suddenly you're so aware of your heat soak, the fatigue comes back in, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, that's the thing with these cars, they're, especially in hot weather like this. They've all got AC right enough, but they are very physical to drive. You get that rest down the long straights, but before you know it, you're into that braking zone. You know, you see the 300, 200, 100, and each car's a little bit different, and you've got to nail that position exactly right on the brakes, get through the corner, off to the next one, and you're constantly thinking of the next zone, so you're never really relaxing.
5 p.m. in central France. We are in our third free practice session for the centenary Le Mans 24 Hours. You're listening to the ACO World Endurance Championship TV coverage of the greatest race in endurance sports cars. And we have another hour of this session to go. Then there will be the first of our support races from the Road to Le Mans series that is the base of the WEC ACO Racing Pyramid. And then we'll head into the final night practice. Still some cars that have not been out and about. The 98 Aston Martin of Ian James has only turned 3 laps into 6 laps in total. That hasn't moved very far. Hendrick Motorsports getting their car ready for the final night practice. Team WRT's 31 car, Ferdy Habsburg, had what seemed like a fairly innocuous shunt. I wonder whether that's now into full prep for race. Because they had to bring it in and do work on it. Okay, now, race engine, race gearbox.
Is it in hyperpool, that car?
Ooh, good question. Well,
we thought so.
We both go...
Bear with. That's not the one I want. Bits of paper everywhere. I'm at the wrong desk, so I can't say. What have you got?
No, it is not.
Okay, so he hasn't gone through into hypo. So in which case...
He was 15th.
Very likely that they are fitting race bits and pieces for it. So, again...
And again, using tonight as a shakedown.
Yeah, the final 2 hours of practice tonight will be the final shakedown. And then they may well opt not to run on Sunday morning. Well, let's get back down to the pit lane. Louise Beckett is there, I'm hoping in the shade somewhere, at Garage 56 with Mike Rockenfeller.
Garage 56, Mike Rockenfeller, great to see you. I've got to say, I've not seen this NASCAR car go out yet, so what's been going on during this session?
Well, we built a complete car, basically race ready, and it just, takes a while. So we did our main work already. For us is rebuild day. So we will shake down, check everything. Everybody gets some laps, hopefully. So we will take it a little bit more easy today.
Plenty of times before, you've experienced Le Mans. How is it to be out in that car?
It's amazing, honestly.
Loud.
It's very loud. It looks so cool. I think, to be in the car, it drives well. It has a nice window. You can really, fight the car and muscle it around the track. It's just awesome. We have a really good pace so far, and it's a great team, great teammates I have on the car. So I just enjoy every bit of it.
And I love the project in its whole entirety. The fact that you're here against all of the WEC and all of the other hypercars, GTs, it's just great.
Yeah, it is. It really is, and I think nobody expected an to be so fast.
Having some technical difficulty. Oh, she's back.
And the whole pit lane.
Yeah, that's
got a little bit
if you get too deep in the garage, there you go.
And they are as far up to pit out as humanly possible to get. Good work here by the 21 car. Julien Piguet has brought it back at cycling and not even people.
Yeah, well done for the 21 Ferrari. That's got back in as well. I've returned to the commentary box. Less than an hour to go in the session then. I've just been informed of something very interesting about that NASCAR as well. It's the fact is that it's not gone out in this session as you heard. There's been some setup changes, but also they don't want to use up their tyres. Interesting. So that's why they haven't gone out in this session as well. So I don't know, Louise was just having that interview quite interesting, but the tyre
I wonder why.
Yeah, because they're going to have to change so many times during the race. Come back onto the comp box a second, because Pietro as well. Hello, Pietro says, what happened to the 51 hypercar? Well, let's take a look. It's in 8th position with a Tennis Giovinazzi. 329.629 is its time. But 110% has got a lot of work to do to get back up there. It's only done how many laps has that done as well? 4 laps in total. From the rest who've done like 26, 27 in this session so far. had some setup changes and should be okay to get ready to go in for the Hyper Pole, which is underway at, what time is it, Josh? 7:45 our time, isn't it? 6:45?
7 p.m.
So we're on here at 6:45, yeah.
Yeah, and while you were away, Josh, I believe it was the number 41 LMP2 who went wide at Indianapolis, which caused a brief yellow flag, had to stop, restart the car, and get going again. But the 21 walking pace got it back, which was
That's
good.
great. I must say, okay, everybody, I hear you. 20 votes so far in the YouTube chat comments about what should I do with the time off we've got between the sessions. Is it, do I play R Factor or do I have some food? And 65% of you said food over R Factor. So, so far, that is winning by quite a margin. 35%.
You're still going to find some time to play R Factor, though.
Probably tomorrow. If I can't do it today, yeah. Dissimulate says food, definitely. See? Okay, so food then, I'll get some food. It's a nice chow mein as well. I've got to eat it with chopsticks. Although, I've just been told that there's no falafel, which I'm a bit disappointed about. I was quite enjoying the falafel. I'm eating at the moment as well, as is Dissimulate. Well, Megan, the reason I was so late as well is because Megan's not well, so I popped up to see her as soon as she's okay. And I discovered she's bought this giant bar of chocolate, like a big giant box of line of dairy milk chocolate, like, you know, like the big ones you get. So I stole 3 little pieces off her. I mean, it's got massive amounts, and I'm going to go back for another bit later, but I stole 3 little pieces off. She said, you can have a line if you like. I was like, I'll just take 3 little squares of like a 20-line chocolate bar. It's like about 10, 20 rows as well, so really big bar of chocolate. To which she's going to eat that over the weekend. Probably a bit more. I could do with that in the commentary box there. In fact, that would be perfect for Le Mans. Just have that chocolate in the side of the box, just picking it every now and then. End up looking like a horse by the end of the day. Ooh. To be renamed Tesco's or Burger King. Actually, speaking of that, have you ever had, this is the strangest thing, by the way, I've ever had as well. Have you ever had duck pizza? Duck pizza is fantastic.
Duck pizza?
Duck pizza, it's fantastic.
Is that a northern thing?
No, it's a Spanish thing.
No, I have not.
It's very nice.
I'm guessing you had it in 2019.
Yes, and it's very tasty. As well as the paella in a pasty. Way too gammy. It wasn't actually. I thought it would be. I thought the same thing as you did, Simulator, that it would be a bit too on the nose, but it's not. It's actually quite a nice little... It's almost like it's fried in. It's very nice, and it's not too wet. It's not too slippery. It's just right, the duck pizza. It's quite nice. Got from the little restaurant near the villa. Very nice, very nice. Pizza takeout. Oh, and then a tuna pizza as well. Red wine and Coke. There's fantastic delicacies they've got. Red wine and Coke. Interesting combination. Sorry, I got distracted there completely about thinking about all the wonderful food I had as well. There was work in there as well. Although, having a cup of coffee and a muffin and hearing cars going around the track. Strangest thing I've ever done in my life. At the top of the Barcelona thing next to the podium area. Literally, my foot was touching the podium. So that's how close it was. Brilliant. From the top of the balcony, I just touched the top of the podium with my foot. Anyway, good little areas. As they come into it, down the back straight. 50 minutes to go then. Unbelievable. These 3 hours, I think, Josh, has dragged a lot, hasn't it? It's been unusual. Yesterday, it flew by. Qualifying flew by. Yeah. The last 2 hours flew by. Today's practice 3 has dragged massively. And we don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, Dissimulate says, I'm having chicken nuggets and fries with water for breakfast / lunch as well. That's a fantastic one as well. Oh, I'm hungry now. I've got a chow mein, a nice chicken chow mein. And I'm going to have some chopsticks. I wonder if they've got some fries I can have on the side there as well. A bit of filling up for the rest of the session. Okay, 65% of you have sent food, so I think I'll stay with food. We'll close that in, what, 5 minutes to go before the end of the session. So you've got another 50 minutes to vote on that. So food and some TV. Okay, sounds good to me. The thing is, as soon as we leave here, it'll be ready as well. That's the nice thing. Look at this, though, from Brendan Hartley. Fastest middle sector, fastest second sector. He's up by tenths of a second as well. He's second at the moment. Sector 1 was a 32.6. Sector 2 is a 119.6. So he's up by 0.124 at the moment. There shouldn't be too much of a big gap when he comes across the line in a few moments' time. Dissimulate says, here is an insider tip for you, though. I look forward to this, then, when it comes up, as the Alpine Elf team of Michel crosses the line and goes up from 19th to 13th in class in LMP2 with a great time, 3:38.170. Hartley's coming to the last few corners now. Here he is coming into the Porsche curves. So he's a few seconds out of it. What's this? If you ever come to the US to visit and find yourself in the Pacific Northwest, like Seattle, Tacoma, Portland area, well, I should have been in Portland next month. But we never got the money for it as well. Although someone said to put the PayPal in the link tree, so I did that this morning and didn't know about that. That's quite nice. Yeah, what's the big tip? I'm liking this. Because I want to
remind Josh about Portland.
That's going to sting when I'm in the comment box. Yeah,
it really is going to sting.
I should have been there. Oh, but Hartley backed off, so he's 2 tenths down. You will want to try smoked salmon in the Chinook tribe style, Native American tribe. Ooh, I love salmon. Really love salmon. Okay, I'll try that. That looks cool. In the tribe style, Native American tribe. Oh, okay. I'll try that. And what's that? Fried bread tacos. Ooh. I'm hungry now. Might just fly over. Yeah, it's so annoying because the tickets. Do you know how much the flight? I get told every day, by the way, what the number of the flight, the price was. Do you know what the current flight price is to get there? I was told this morning. £1,062. That's what I was told it was this morning. 1,062. Let me just bring that down and put it up to the camera. Look at that. Google Flights. £1,062. London to Portland. 1,069, 1,081. Unbelievable prices. And we don't have a grand.
Oh.
Oh, that's Corvette. That's the Corvette 33 coming through Kudamon and jumping over the curves a little bit too much there. So, yeah. I would have loved to have gone to Portland, but it's way, way, way too expensive. So we're saving up and hopefully in next year or so. So instead of Portland, we're now looking to go to Knockhill, Scotland, for touring cars. To which as soon as the money comes in, I can budget and see where that is. And keep your fingers crossed, because we've got paddock access as well. I suppose everyone's got paddock access now. When I went back in 2021 after COVID, I had paddock access. Not many people did because it was COVID. But now everyone's got paddock access, haven't they, Josh? They can just walk into the paddock, can't they? So that'd be quite nice. Walk in with the microphones. Gonna need people there to hold the cameras on our walk around it. So if you come as well, that'd be fun. If you end up in Scotland area.
I'm happy to come along.
You say that, make sure you can first. And then, I don't know, I might have, I don't know if I don't know what the plan is. I only said it, I've not thought anything of it yet. Presumably I'd go by via train.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know about a hotel or something or another. Because that's Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so that's Friday night, Saturday night and Sunday night as well. That's 3 nights in the hotel, it's quite expensive. The hotel's the biggest part of it.
Quite expensive.
Yeah. Hotels are as well. Unless I stay with relatives up in Scotland area, which will be quite.
Yeah, you said you had some people like 15 minutes away, didn't you?
My aunt and uncle there. Yeah. Can we bring them to the racing? That'd be quite fun. Then again, they'll buy the hospitality suite areas probably. That'd be quite nice actually. I say that just in case as they come through. I've no idea. I've not even thought of it yet. We'll think of the plan going forward to what it's going to be as we come into it. So, 45 minutes to go in the GTM class. It's Ferrari 54 AF Corsa fastest, followed by the 86 GR Racing, the 60 Iron Lynx, the 77 Dempsey Proton, the 83 Richard Malay AF, the Ferrari AF Corsa 21, the 56 Project 1 AO, Corvette Racing 33, the 66 JMW Motorsport, the 911 Proton, the 57 Kessel Racing, 85 Iron Dames, 25 ORT by TF, the 16 Proton, the 72 TF Sport, and the 100 Wolkenhorst, and the 88 Proton. Dempsey Proton coming in there too. That's our runners and riders as things currently stand. Knockhill would be fun though. Knockhill's one of my favourite tracks in the world.
Knockhill's camping is expensive.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Getting there and back is going to be quite entertaining. Now, usually I would just stay at the circuit like we did at Snetterton, but I don't think that's a possibility. Camping at Snetterton and camping at Knockhill in the mountains. That's going to be freezing. Absolutely freezing. No, thank you.
Me and my dad to go camping for the weekend at Knockhill, it would be 135 quid without admission tickets.
See?
No, yeah. We're not going to do camping. We'll do an alternative.
I haven't thought of it yet. I'll figure it out in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Because it is
but
like
then hotels are more expensive than that.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. And also, it is like, it's the only race I could probably get to this year from the track side, because it's the only one. Troy Carr's the only one that's there, isn't it? That does mean, however, we can commentate and practice 1, 2, qualifying and the race as well.
Yeah.
And with the iPad now, we need a way to get an iPad monitor. Now that we've got better systems than before, we can get that sorted a bit quicker. Like actually buy an iPad stand for. Well, we've got 2 tripods now, haven't we? So get 1 tripod with the camera, 1 tripod with the iPad on, and we've got a monitor to watch the action and everything else. I suppose you can watch on your phone.
You're gonna need a person on the behind the scenes carrying the TV pictures around,
Possibly,
like they do on
Yeah, and then whether or not you've got like your iWig working, we're gonna have to take 2 mics and be connected to 1 microphone thing, going around talking with people. That's gonna be quite fun.
I mean, my iRig's here, but it doesn't work with my headphones and stuff, which I use.
Yeah, but I suppose if I brought in a microphone for you to work with it, that would work, wouldn't it? Like a microphone and cable that work.
This one is it's the 6mm one, not the XLR. So.
Your iRig's what?
My handheld.
Oh.
Is the 6.5, I think it is,
not
or 6.25mm jack.
Yeah.
Not XLR.
Oh, Fred Vasseur with Paul di Resta. That's quite nice. It's nice to see Paul di Resta, to be fair, since he got fired from Sky Sports F1. I definitely think it was the right decision there to get rid of him. Paul di Resta is one of those people that you sort of have to sort of skate around. Apparently there's a lot of things with his team at Force India as well. A lot of people didn't like him. But it's nice to see him racing and doing well in the World Endurance Championship. Fingers crossed anyway, he's going to have a good weekend here. Was an LMP2 before going into Hypercar this year. And Davidson probably got some chose words. I would love to hear what he said there.
So, yeah. I'm quite impressed with that. Let's see if Antonio Giovinazzi...
No, I'm not. Nick Tandy is on a lap time in the 75 Porsche Penske Motorsport as well. He was up in the first sector by 22 thousandths. He's down in the second sector by 6 tenths. He's being held up by the Porsche 25 in the GT class as well. And that is the ORT by TF car. That's blocked him off as they come back in. So 40 minutes to go in the session. Let's pass over to the world feed for the next 10 minutes and we'll be back with you for the last half hour.
Will Stevens is currently in the pit lane, but it does have the best second sector time of any car on the track. Nick Tandy here on a quick lap. 22 thousandths up in the first sector, 68 thousandths behind by the end of sector 2 and 2.2 seconds back at the end of sector 3. Some of that will be part of the picture of every driver's race, Peter. You know, you're on a really hot lap and then you get traffic and then some more and then some more and then, just can't find a rhythm.
Yeah, it can be so frustrating. I mean, we saw yesterday the Ferrari, was it number 50? Could not get a lap at all.
Right, yeah.
And all of a sudden, bang, he finally gets a lap from pole position.
Yeah. There you saw it again coming down through the S's. The 75 Porsche getting stuck behind a GTE Ferrari and then having to find a way by. Now he's back on the straight. First sector won't be anything to write home about. He's getting a good run here down to the first of the chicanes on the Mulsanne.
325, 327.
Yeah. 327, 328, so 210 miles an hour and change.
I think that was pretty similar to what I saw from the Cadillac.
Yep. VMAX is there before the first chicane. Everybody thinks, oh, is it Mulsanne corner? You know, is it on the run-up to Indianapolis? Predominantly, most cars will be fastest through Tertre Rouge, which has got a pretty decent sort of third to fourth gear exit, and you carry speed onto the straight. And that's normally the maximum speed for cars anywhere around the lap.
And if you can catch a slipstream.
Don't hurt at all. And it doesn't have to be off a hypercar as well. You get a tiny little bit of toe of anything punching a hole in the air. So one of the GT cars, an LMP2 car, all of them can help you just by breaking up that solid wall of air in front of you. Now, for those of you who are trying to figure out which Porsche is which, hello, join the club. The 5, 6 and 75, the three Porsche Penske Motorsport cars all have this multicoloured sort of historic livery colour scheme for the centenary of Le Mans, and they each have a different coloured fin. So the dorsal fin behind the cockpit, there you go. The 75 car is red, on the 5 car is black, and on the 6 car is white, and they will have matching mirrors, not that you can see them very often.
And also not only the matching mirrors, but also the sunshade at the top of the windscreen is matching the dorsal fin color.
Also, they will eagerly point out to you as you stand in the garage door, yeah, but they've got different numbers on, Martin.
Yeah.
As we had the running gag last year with Jota of their 2 LMP2 cars, they've even got different coloured wheel nuts, because you can see that when they're going by the camera at 180 miles an hour at night. All of that stuff going on. So yeah, I'm sure most of you watching at home will have at least some idea of what's what in terms of what various different cars look like, but identifying each of the cars in a multi-car team, or even in, you know, a bunch of Ferraris in the GT Am class, go online and just Google a spotter guide. You find a number of them online. Any of them will definitely help when you're trying to watch this and we're meandering talking about something else. You can pick and choose, you know, favourite drivers or favourite teams, and then identify what you're seeing on track. We're going to try and do as much of that as we can, but by necessity, you might end up having to do some of your own spotting as well.
What's your favourite part of this racetrack, Peter? One of the things that I enjoy is watching the cars go through the Porsche curves, and then karting, and then Maison Blanche before they get to the Ford chicane. There's such a flow there. Is that a popular spot for the drivers, or what do you?
Yeah, Porsche curves definitely. I think Indianapolis is my favourite. It's the high-speed right, where you just
Yeah, brief yellow came out. Now we're going again.
The bank corner, but the Porsche curves are nice except for the karting corner, the last left, because you see a lot of cars running wide there, and the reason for that, and you don't see it so much on TV, is because it's off camber, and so it's so the car gets so loose through there, and I always got so frustrated with that one.
And it's a horrible place to catch traffic, isn't it? I mean,
there's basically one in the Porsche curves. There's one overtaking point, and that's on the outside of the right-hander before you go into karting on the left.
Let's head down to the pits. I think Louise has someone she's going to chat with.
Oh, Bamber, I can see the number 2 Cadillac in the garage. What's going on?
We found some small issue with the fuel cell, so we're just fixing it. But should be hopefully fixed a little bit before the end of the session, and then go out, get ready for hyperpole.
Yeah, that's all new for you, isn't it?
What was that, sorry?
Hyperpole, it's new for you. You've been here to Le Mans many times, but not with this new setup.
Yeah, I haven't done it before, so to be honest, I'm looking forward to it. Should be nice to get some good clean laps out there. The car's been performing pretty well. It's always nice to guarantee yourself into that top 8, so let's see where that flushes out now.
Is it good to be back?
No, it's awesome to be back. It's great to be back in the top class. It's great that there's so many manufacturers. I think ACO, FIA's done a great job to find the right mixture for everyone to come and join. And, this year's one thing, and next year it seems even bigger again. So really looking forward to the race to start on Saturday.
Yes, and for me, as a WEC regular, obviously, to have the IMSA guys come in, it's a real, breath of fresh air for us.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it's, fantastic with Cadillac Racing to have 3 cars here. It definitely helps us, helps our attack on the race. I think we should have 3 strong cars, and then it's up to Le Mans, and if we can go clean through and have no issues.
All right, thank you.
Alex Lynn was telling us as early as Saturday when the car went through scrutineering that Earl Bamber was already down to be the guy who would do hyperpole if they got through. So he did some running on Sunday to prepare for that in the test day. Just saw Tom Dillman in the cap, Tristan Vautier, who's not long been either out of the number 4 Floyd Van Roel car or ready to get back in it. He was in his racing overalls, Tom Dillman and civvies, so clearly not expecting to go out in this session. There's Esteban Guerrieri in the car at the moment on a set of mediums, as you can see. So halfway, actually 2/3 of the way. Hang on a minute, 17 laps, half the way through a second stint on those tyres. Michelin engineers were telling us a couple of days ago that they believe the tyre will very comfortably do a triple stint, even in these conditions, which is hot. And very likely a quad stint. And they didn't say as much, but the confidence with which they suggested that a quad stint should absolutely be possible means that we might need to keep our eyes on what the DEG is like at the end of the quad stint, because if it's cool, maybe somebody's going to try and go 5. Now that, for a hypercar, would be more than 2.5 hours in the seat for the driver, unless they change driver and leave him on the same tyres. And Peter, that is a long, long time to be driving a car like this.
It is. I'd be surprised if they tried to do 5.
There you're getting into JJ Leto sort of Superman nighttime stints, aren't you?
Yeah, it all depends on, of course, your safety cars and that kind of thing. But I remember my last one was actually 2013 in Aston Martin, and I only did 2 stints in the car, and both those stints were about 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So,
and the problem with the GTs here is not like, the hypercar's going to do 12, maybe 13. So you're looking at sort of 35, 36 minutes, or maybe getting up towards 40. GT cars will do an hour, boomph, which means you're either in or out for another hour. Can you do another? Yeah, I'm good to go. 20 minutes into that, you're going, what on earth was I thinking? Or did it actually feel relatively human?
I think physically you can handle it. It's just if you've got a good car under you and the tyre's performing well. If you've got a tyre that's not performing well and you've just started another stint on them and you're really not having a good time, your confidence starts to drop and you start having to brake early and, protecting yourself and the car. And that's when that's an awful hour that you've got to spend in the car.
Exactly.
Until you can get out and have some new tyres on the car.
Right, word from the pit lane, and we've just seen it there coming out of the garage. The garage for out the pit lane, garage 56, Chevy Camaro ZL1. The NASCAR entry has just fired up and left the pit lane. So that is now running in the race engine and the race tranny and the race rotors and all the other bits. They are just going to bed those in gently, scrub a couple of sets of tyres maybe, and see where we go. And actually, I wonder when if at all, anybody is going to just do a lap to scrub in a set of wets. It's quite a long lap to scrub in a set of wets, but if the forecasts are leaning more and more towards rain potentially at the start, you might just want to have that in your locker. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, you've got the Saturday morning session,
Yeah.
okay, it's nasty getting up for that, and I never liked it. But
you don't like getting up for Saturday afternoon sessions.
yeah. So, but you know, if it does look, as we get closer to the weekend, it looks like it's going to rain, then yeah, you've got that opportunity that one driver could go and do that. You draw straws and then
well, part of that actually is the lap out to the grid. That's a heck of a long lap. You're going to easily scrub a tyre in at that stage, so that might be a possibility. I will immediately withdraw what I said, by the way, because most mornings I get up when I have a look on Strava about 9 a.m. Peter's already done 95 kilometres on the bicycle, so he does actually manage to get out of bed with not too many dramas. Now they're looking at the back of the Peugeot, the 94 car. That's come in smoking. Louise, Jim, if you can operate the Louise Beckett button, she's got word for us as well.
It's good news for the 31 WRT. Ferdy Habsburg is getting back into the car. The team have done a great job to put that back together for this session, and they are going to get out at the end of this session.
Right, the smoking Peugeot number 94 is being wheeled back into the garage. I will give this advice to Louise Beckett and to Steph Wentworth, our new pit reporter. And don't ask me why I know. Never stand between the fuel device and a petrol-engined Peugeot Le Mans car. On 2 occasions, I have had cause to regret that action. And that was before fire suits were mandatory in the pit lane. I believe David Brabham was out of the door of his car when it went woof.
Yes.
And at the pit wall, just behind me, and I was the other side of the car. So that was the second of those, but both previous petrol iterations of Peugeot Le Mans cars have had pit fires, and I have been...
You didn't have to shave your legs, did you?
I've been the pit reporter in both of them. I mean, and again, as with so many things, you know, again to Steph particularly, never turn your back on traffic in the pit lane. James Weaver taught me that one year when the old pits were still here. There was a pit wall with a little standing area that was about a quarter, maybe a third of a metre wide, and then a single rail of barrier. And James Weaver, as I was looking towards pit out, came past me in a Porsche with a tyre on fire, flailing around. This flaming cartwheel came past my ear. That taught me to turn around and look in the other direction, even when you weren't looking for anything. So it's a bigger pit lane now. The pit garages are more commodious, but the cars don't appear to be a very great deal kinder on the human body if you're in the way.
Riding on board with the number 74 Kessel Racing Ferrari, and
that is Glickenhaus coming back up to speed. Is that 708 or 709? That is 708. So, okay.
Missing and breaking point down into Mulsanne corner, possibly.
I think you'll find that 709.
709, you may well be correct. You're closer to the...
Yep.
Yes, you are. Yeah, it did look like that, didn't it?
No debris coming out of it as well.
And again, that's... Ooh, and the Corvette.
Oops, Corvette sliding off the track there. Yeah, nice to hear also that we've got the 24 on the track, as Decima just said as well. 1,000 Peter. I'm not. Is that the 1,000 Le Mans as well coming through into it as well? Hello. So yes, the session going away. Josh is leaving us in 10 minutes, but a lock up from the Glickenhaus 709 and into the gravel down at Arnage there, Josh, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's another yellow at Marshall Post 20.
I'll just add it to the list on the amount of things that are coming in. So we threw over to the world feed because we just got some things sorted in terms of chatting, not kill, and all that we were talking about before as well, and just double checking everything. I've looked at the tickets. Weekend is access like 55 quid for the admission, and then so that's sort. But then you got to think about trains there and back and everything, and although it's going to be a nightmare, isn't it? I've got a feeling it's going to be a very horrific nightmare. Why couldn't it be Donington? Why couldn't the weekend have fallen at Donington? Why did it have to be Scotland? Love Scotland.
Because it's touring cars.
I love Scotland, but it's like, my God, it's such a trek, isn't it?
Apparently 4 fire engines just headed towards Mulsanne Corner on the golf course.
Oh, how are you seeing that?
General chat, Discord.
Oh. I'm now
Joshua
looking.
Smith.
Oh, right. Hello, Joshua Smith. Oh, you joined the Discord. Right, hey. Hello. Nice to see you here. Oh, wow. Wow, some great shots coming through on the chicane. Oh, I'll tell you what, Joshua Smith. We'll get these in the show for later. Hello, if you're watching. I'll get these in the show. I'm going to text you now, Joshua Smith. Joshua Smith. I'll get these in the show. That's great. Oh, thank you, Joshua Smith. We'll get those. I'll get those into a little video and put them on for this afternoon's Hyperpole session as well. Are they scrubbing a set of tyres to make sure it's all good? Yes, the 24. I think that's it as well. Let's take a look at them on the driver track here, right here. Where are they? 24. They're down in the field. Here they are. Done 1 lap. 153 minutes in the pit lane. That's how long they've been in there. 60th overall of 62. It's the Destation Racing who hasn't set a time in the session. 31 LMP2 WRT also having issues in the run. It's just one of those days to come in. But yeah. I suppose we're on board now with Jenson Button. Here we are. They've got, look, a screen rear view. That's fantastic, isn't it? It's a great angle there from Button. It's such a big car as well, this NASCAR. It towers over the GTs and the LMPs as well. So, nice little car. It's the official name for it as well, is the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Fantastic area. Do you know, it's what is it? Portland is in, not Portland. Portland's 2 weeks away, and that's going to hurt because I was supposed to be there. And I'm hoping Portland stays on the F1 calendar for next year because I'll just head down for that. Hopefully trackside. If this Formula E thing works, I'm just going to go all out, all goes racing as they come into it. They are just those headlights, though. Even I saw Alex Bundle commentate on them as well. The headlights on that car, Josh, are fantastic. They are just like searchlights attached to the front of the car and just go whoosh. It's fantastic. As my camera's freezing. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, that is the front of one of the United Autosport cars getting changed. I believe the number, it's either the 22, and yes, it is the 22, I think I just saw the number just reflecting off there. That's one of the Prima cars of the number 9.
Yep.
Getting a driver change and a seat change.
So that's getting in. I believe coming in is going to be, or as we take a look at the 9 coming in, well, that's alongside with one Manuel Correa, isn't it, as well? So that's going to be Urgan getting in. And a quick change of the cars of Prema. Nice to see one Manuel Correa racing at Le Mans. I think that's absolutely fantastic. At least we know who he is. Those Pit Stop podcast guys. Don't know how on earth. Have they officially been cancelled? Dear chat, have they officially sort of gone? The Pit Stop podcast guys? Because they're not the Pit Stop boys, because the Pit Stop boys are actually decent tracks with Let's Go Lando, Max Super Max, and what was it? Vamos Fernando, all those chats as well. So, yeah. Have the Pit Stop podcast guys officially, like, just gone? Because I haven't heard from them since they made that mistake about Correa. Have they gone? Hope so. Have you heard anything from them since then, Josh? We haven't heard anything, have we? No, nothing. Jolter's still topping LMP2. I know you're going...
They last uploaded 2 weeks ago.
Oh. What was the viewing figures on that?
2.8k versus 25k for the Correa one.
Oh. Okay, that is a drop-off.
And 270k on the Fernando Alonso's one.
Yellow flag at Marshall Point 20. Everyone's
tends to be shocked.
Yeah, everyone's favourite part of the track, isn't it? It's down there at Mulsanne. As if you're just joining us and haven't seen Mulsanne's corner yet, it's down there at the bottom half of the track. It's the little curve in zone
Joshua
5.
Smith is.
Yes, it's where Joshua Smith is. So hi, Josh Smith.
Near there.
Down at zone 5. Are we going to have a slow zone? Still yellow out there. Haven't been told why. We've got a yellow flag, and I'm surprised about that because it hasn't come up on the screen. But 19 minutes to go of the session. Yellow flag has been
Green
removed.
flag.
Yeah, we're going back to green. The 24 Hendrick Motorsport car, as well, the NASCAR, is back in its garage now after doing the initial installation laps. So, fingers crossed, it's all good.
Yeah.
So, 20 minutes to go. Let's end this poll, shall we? And let's see what the results were. Warning for cars 57 for Kuma for degrees of track limits. Okay. So, how to waste time before hyperpole. 59% of you said food, 40% of you said R factor. So food wins.
Close back up again.
Yeah, food wins. 32 votes. So I shall go have some food. So you win.
Yes.
I shall have a chow mein on standby and I'll update you all. I think I'll have some fries with it as well. Am I greedy to have fries? As a chow mein?
Depends how big the chow mein is.
It's not that big. It's like I'm going to text and have some fries with it. Who doesn't like fries? LMP2 battle. Oops.
What type of fries though?
Oh, rosemary. And that is, I can't tell who, because has it got their name on? Which one's that? It's the Clokenhouse. So that is the 37 Cool Racing. So it's a 37 Cool Racing now. We just went straight on down it. That's what caused the yellow flag. It was down at Mulsanne. Yeah. Got the, well, it's either the 37 or the 47. Because they've both got the same. So it's either 37. It's one of the Cool Racings, but we couldn't tell who it was on our screen, which is bizarre.
I mean, the Cool Racing don't really have a livery difference.
No, unlike with most of the teams, like the two Cadillacs, one's got a blue front with a black back, one's got a yellow front with a black back. The two Toyotas are the same, apart from the fact on the number 8 Toyota, they've got a slight rosemary livery on the front of the car. The way to tell the difference between the two Toyotas is the fact they've got a big number on the front to help us out, which isn't the case anywhere else. Yes, I'm having some fries with it. Lovely. Lovely. That's going to be nice. I'll update you all. Instagram. At Joshua Birch 99 on Instagram. I'll post a story saying food. Break, lunch. Although I'm not leaving the box for well, I'm leaving the box for 1 hour of the 24 hours because I've got to go cover MotoGP.
Yeah.
I'll be back for the last hour, so Megan's coming in here with the whole team here. That's going to be fun. But I am going to be having food in here, drink in here, everything as well. It all gets put in. It's going to be a proper good box because I can't leave. I'm running it all. I'm running the show. So I'll have breaks for bathrooms and that lot, but somebody else would come in here. Well, Megan probably would come in here, relieve me for 5 minutes in the commentary, and I'll go and have like a quick bathroom change over as well, everything. And then Megan and I'll come in and Megan will go back as well. So sort of go like that. So there's always someone in this command chair to make sure the streams are okay. It's going to be a busy day, 24 hours. Right, it's 1:45. Do you need to disappear?
I can do 10 more minutes.
Is your chair arrived yet?
No.
Oh wow, that's an hour late. How's it gone again because of adverse weather conditions, even though it's bright sunshine?
No, it's surprisingly on the tracker. Its last reported position was actually at my dad's work. We could have just got it delivered there.
Oh.
Not here.
That's a surprise.
But it's been stuck at my dad's work for an hour, but the website hasn't updated, so we have no idea what's happening with it.
It will probably be found eventually. Okay, so how long's left in this session? 15 minutes to go. There's number 5 Porsche Penske as well in 7th position overall and in hyperclass.
If I don't have my chair when I join the broadcast on Hyperpole,
you know something's gone wrong.
Yes.
Well, hang on, they do take a long time to set up. to build, so take your time there. Tom will be with us for Hyperpol, I think, he said. I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then the final practice. Adam's going to be joining us for last practice as well, FP4. It's going to be fun to hear from Adam. He'll be joining us on Saturday as well. And he'll be back with us next weekend in the Canadian Grand Prix, which is going to be fantastic. As I think it's Jess and Tom who are taking the coverage. Me and Jess to start with in IndyCar. And then Jess takes over the stream with Tom alongside. And maybe Josh as well doing the driver tracker. I think that's how it's going to work.
How?
What?
How?
You've got 2 commentary devices, so you can do the race with us, and then go and do thingy with them. Like your other laptop could do the.
You're forgetting something.
What?
I'm at Brands.
Oh yeah, so you are. Okay, well Jess will have to download this emulator then, the Visor app, and do that on her phone. I'll teach her how to do
I'm helpful, I know.
Yeah.
But
that means...
it is the 10th American Speed Fest.
Okay, so that means we've got me, Megan and Adam up in the comms box. Tom and Jess are over on the IndyCar as Ferrari 50 to the top. Antonio Fiocco goes to the top in the 50 Ferrari of Corsa with a 326.579, 1.001 faster than the 7 Toyota Gazoo Racing. So a full second faster. Now we are seeing the times really come up going into the last session.
Warning flag for car 21 and car 13 for abusing track limits.
So we need someone... Well, Omi! Of course, Omi. Never mind. All good. I was just thinking who's going to be joining us in the commentary box for Formula 1, but it'll be Omi. So he'll get promoted up to the com box again. So the Canadian Grand Prix will be myself, Megan, Adam and Omi.
Omi's getting a real good experience up in the main comments box.
Yes, and in IndyCar it'll be myself and Jess, and it'll be Jess and Tom. And yeah, that should be fun. I wonder if I can throw a third comment there with them. Yellow flag, Marshall points 30. Oh, okay. So where's that's at Porsche Curves. That's where we are right now. Ah, no! Antonio Fiocco's lap time has been deleted for track limits. As we have, and we've got a yellow at Marshall point 20 as well. Joshua Pearson's lap time has been deleted for the track limits as well, but Fiocco's lap time has been deleted. So does that mean that it was lap 36, he's done 35? Is that this lap he's deleted track limits? I'm not entirely sure because the timing screen hasn't changed over. It's still showing Fiocco fastest.
We're green at Mulsanne and Porsche Curves now.
Pierre Greedy goes 8th fastest. Well, I think it's the current lap. It's the current laps that's been deleted. So he did that on lap 35 for Fiocco, Antonio Fiocco. So he's still fastest. That 3:26.579.
Oh.
Still the fastest time. What have you found?
I turned my phone on to see if there was any notifications for the Ring doorbell. There was, but it's my sister returning from work. Why? I got all excited then.
Almost the chair, not the chair. As they fly in. Do you know, I'm quite surprised. Your dad's made it onto the stream before. Your mum has. Your nan has. I've never seen your sister on the broadcast, ever.
She will never be on the broadcast.
No, she just sort of stays. I presume she stays completely away. Quite like my older sister. The 30-something-year-old.
Yes.
My God, I forgot. Kenan's going to love me, I forgot. Hi, Cal. Oh, puncture! Oh. That is the Wolkenhorst Motorsport team who have gone off at the Porsche Curves and I've got a slight puncture and I'm bringing it back in. That's lucky because the pit lane's just the exit there. So they'll bring that Ferrari back in as well. That is the number 100 car.
We've gone a yellow at
Marshall point 6.
Turn 8.
Oh, that's coming into double yellow Marshall point 6. That is at the entrance. That's zone 3, so that's the entrance to the... That's Tech Rouge on the entrance to Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah,
we've gone green. I think we've gone green. No, time screen's still yellow.
No.
Double yellow at Marshall point 6 as you take a look here on our timing screens.
Well, the 100 still falling in.
Well, this is alarming that we've
And
stayed
we've gone green.
Yeah, that's good then. Green flag's back out. Slightly worried as the 100 gets back into the pit lane now. Then 10 minutes to go of the session. Yellow again.
And no.
Marshal point 5. That's early. That's zone 2. That's Tech Rouge. Yellow removed. Marshal point 5. That's the TF Sport Aston Martin. Having some... that's got an engine in it. Oh dear.
On my notes, I've got which was provided by Tom. Ones to watch in the GTE AM class. The 777 Aston Martin, and Tom has put, there is nothing remarkable about this car, it's just a British Racing Green Aston Martin.
Yeah, he said that last night, didn't he? He wanted to keep that in as well. And it's the Distation Racing with Hoshino, Stevenson and Fuji as well at wheel. And the only one with a social media account is Fuji. Tomo... Mono View Fuji as well is his Instagram handle, I believe, according to social media up here, Spotter's Guide. If you want the Le Mans Spotter's Guide, by the way, just type it in, FIA WEC Le Mans Spotter's Guide, and it will be there in PDF form from the official FIA website.
You mean
the link you
that Spotter Guide?
Yes, that's Spotter's Guide. See, that's the notes that Josh has got.
And then all of the F1 testing stuff, which has still not been taken down.
Well, on my commentary box wall, I've got the Spotter's Guide, and all the little timetables are boxed around it as well. But I'm waiting until the print arrives tomorrow, because I can get all the practice times stuck up in the side of the commentary box as well. Yellow flag is out at Marshall Point 14, and that is down in Zone 4. That's actually on the Mulsanne Straight. Where this yellow's come out.
Gotta be a slow car.
And double yellow, and look at the timing screen, it's going mad. Double yellows now have come out. So definitely we've got a situation happening there on the circuit.
And at Marshall Post 7.
Double yellow now. This is going to be a slow zone, isn't it? Whatever's going on.
Yeah. It could be a slow zone sector 4 and 5.
We'll wait to see. This is it,
Sorry, 3 and 4.
Well, we're here now with the 51 Ferrari of Corsa, where the yellow flag is. It's just after the Daytona chicane, and there's some gravel. There's a car in the gravel. There's a car, an LMP car in the gravel. Now, this will be a slow zone then, and it's down at the Daytona chicane.
Prepare for full course yellow.
Full course yellow, wow. That is a surprise.
I'm guessing that's because there's something at the exit
65
of Tetsuo.
Yeah, 65, and that is going... Oh, I'm trying to have a look where it is on Mars. It's the Panis Racing Squad with, guess who? Maldonado for the second time today in the gravel. Full course yellow, then, has been put out. Hello.
I think the reason that we've got full course yellow is we've got 3 different incidents down the Mulsanne Straight, and we've gone full course yellow.
Yeah, there's one at the top at Tech Rouge, there's one at the bottom as well, isn't there? So we've gone full course yellow. Had to go full course yellow.
Yeah.
Hello, Amy. You come in and cause drama. Well, you might not be able to hear us. So full course yellow out on the circuit then, as it's flashing on our screens to indicate that. The FCY button. 3 separate incidents on the straight. I would love to know what they are. There's the full course yellow information.
Now everyone's going to pit because no doubt this will end the session. No doubt.
Yeah, it's not going to be... they may as well just red flagged it, to be fair. That's the end of it. Full course yellow. No one can do any speeds. So they may as well have just put out the red flag, to be fair. But 3 separate incidents. Cars will dive in. That's the end of the session then.
Well...
Not having great luck, are they, with sessions?
No, I think that is a good time for me to say adios.
It is. Oh, thank you, Josh. Thanks for your company. Got some food, and we'll hand over to the...
I will be here, hopefully,
Hyperpole.
with a chair, another chair, for Hyperpole.
All right, well, we'll pass over to the World Feed, see what information they've got before wrapping up, because that full course yellow is going to be out for a while.
Hello, everybody. Enjoying the sunshine, and boy, is it sunny out there.
Oh, yeah. 30.8 degrees, track temperature is 41.8. It'll probably be close to 40-degree track temperature still at 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. It's blisteringly warm out there.
So the full course yellow, this will probably be the end of any running, because certainly they probably won't get that car extracted and get back to green in 5 minutes.
Well, potentially there's 2 cars that need extracted as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we'll see how this progresses. Certainly we're not going to get very much by way of impressive lap times in the remaining time, are we?
No, not with a full course yellow.
Yeah. Good to see Take That with us this weekend.
Just some of the expected more than 300,000 fans that will be here. I understand they sold 50,000 more tickets.
It was late release, particularly for people locally. There was a further 30,000 tickets, I believe.
30,000.
So it's about 350,000 people we expect over the race weekend.
We're talking about vintage Indy 500 numbers.
It's astonishing numbers here.
That's outstanding.
And those tickets have gone as quickly as they were made available. There was a number of promotional competitions offered through a number of media operations, including some of our colleagues in France. I know our colleagues down in the paddock at Radio Le Mans were offering some through their podcast shows. And then a larger release, correctly so, to people proud of what goes on in this part of the country.
Outstanding. Well, and as we witnessed on Sunday...
Just quickly as well, if we take a look at what we've got some information here. Car 55 driver Moller has been reported to the stewards for abusing track limits. And warning for car 80 as well, and car 16 for abusing track limits.
People at that pre-season test, and I've seen sometimes for the race at Daytona. The race had record numbers, although famously Daytona don't release crowd numbers. They did release that it was a record, and it was crowded. And again here, I've never seen this many people at the Le Mans 24 Hours. 28 car looks set to complete this session top of the tree in LMP2. There goes Manuel Maldonado, trailing some gravel behind him. I wonder if we'll get a chance to see whether or not the other car has made it away. No sign of the 34 car at the moment. As that car still shown as being stopped. A little further down from this, isn't it?
Unless it's buried under all of those.
It is still there, I think.
Is it? Yeah, 34 and 98. They're saying is stopped.
98 is stopped on timing because it stopped on track and then was then pulled back with the rear suspension. So we'll listen to what's going on with race control.
Looks like a 5-minute stop-and-go penalty for the car 55. Yet another one to spend 5 minutes on the naughty step.
So what happens in the situation when
green
there's only
flag,
2
green
minutes
flag.
and 40 seconds of the session?
I think they somewhat get away with it, unless that one is carried
We are
over.
moving full course yellow in 15 seconds. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow removed. Full course yellow removed.
Go, 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 go! So we are underway for the last 2 minutes of this session. Not going to be enough time for anyone to pick up an unfortunate run around. So if they want to have an action zone, I'm afraid they're not going to have it at the moment. So we are at the moment, the 50 Ferrari of course and the 51 Ferrari of course have gone fastest, with the 7 and 8 Toyotas in 3rd and 4th position respectively. And Josh T saying, well, 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 Carol's at the end of FP3, which is the end for that car. But the session's still continuing on as we extended the gap. But look, it only happens when we got a driver tracker. It's kind of useless anywhere else as well to bring that in on the zoom in. There we go, we'll just get rid of that. And we've had the yellow removed, so we need to press that button as well. On board with Jensen Button in the 2400 Motorsports in the hiring per car NASCAR sort of crossbreed. It's quite funny, really. But 60 seconds left of the session, and we've got an LMP2 going side by side with a NASCAR. The things you thought you'd never see in your life, honestly. It's so, like, confusing as it hits you, and Button pits as well. They're just shaking down the car. They've got no reason to worry. No reason at all. They are golden until the end of it. They really are. As we're just waiting for the track noise, really, to come in a bit more. The American flag getting waved. Nice timely shot, that as well, actually. Quite like that one. As they come through. 25 seconds left. Checkered flag is out. Session is over. And it's Ferrari back at the top. They took their time in this 3-hour practice session, but you've got to admit they've done a good job. 3:26.579. Following them 4/10 off is Pierre Greedy. The 24 Camaro gets jacked up at the side and then put on its dollies and wheeled back in. As you can see, this session has dragged. It really has dragged, hasn't it? Ah. what a session it's been as well. Look at that. Race Control still issuing out penalties, as we heard the guy say. 5 minutes. Stop-go penalty for car 55 for abusing the track limits. That is 55 in that's the GMB Motorsports in the GTM category. But look at this, is something I love. We can interact with it and take a look at the session stats as well from this one. So, in total here for the WEC race, in Hypercar, your fastest was the number 50 Ferrari AF Corsa, Antonio Fulco at the wheel as they come into it. In LMP2, it's the 28 Jolter with Pietro Fittipaldi. In LMGT it's the 54 Ferrari AF Corsa, and that Ferrari 888 GT Evo. Thomas Fleur as well at the wheel. And of course, Jenson Button, Hendrick Motorsports, not actually doing a time, but top the overall runs as well. What time is Hyperpole says? Just 7 p.m. As well, Josh said as well. Dissimulate says, Matt, being back on top means not much at the moment. It is soundbag and trying to get Ferrari to show more of their hand. Should we have a quick look, actually? This is what I do love as well. We've got time. Let's take a look at car comparison between the 50 Ferrari, there we go, and the number 7 Toyota. There we go. Oh, green is the Ferrari. And look how minimal they are on lap times. Not that much between them, is there? Compared to the big ones. Where are they here, look? Minute times. 1.5, that's their fastest times they've done as well. So, Ferrari seem faster. What's the biggest one? 318, 4/10 between them, yeah. So they're actually not bad. They're not doing that bad, to be fair, in terms of the data screens that we're looking at there on our screens. That's not bad. That's an okay comparison. I love this data screen. I absolutely love it. It's a great analysis feature we can do. The green is the Ferrari, of course. The red is the Toyota Gazoo. Yellow, Marshall Point 25. Double yellow at Marshall Point 25 now as well. And Arnage, a double yellow has come out. So what's happened down there on the circuit that we need to see that they're not showing us? I hope there's no one in the gravel. Double yellow removed. That's great. We're back to green flag running, but the checker flag has come out. The session is over. So we've gone through everything that's gone through. 2 hours time then. The stream's about to be set up, by the way, for Hyperpole and Free Practice 4. So you can just subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the notification bell, and you'll be informed of when we're live next for Hyperpole, which gets underway in 2 hours time. So start a 2-hour stopwatch. And then you're fine. 2 hours until we decide who's on pole position in each class for the 91st edition of the Le Mans 24 Hours on its 100th anniversary. Right, that's it all done then for us from Practice 3. Thanks to everybody for tuning in from qualifying, but thanks to Josh as well in the box. We'll see you shortly for qualifying Hyperpole in 2 hours' time. Bye-bye.